Southampton Town Board to order on this 14th day of November, 2023. Please rise if you're able and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. I'd like to ask that we join together in a moment of silence in memory of Brian Williams. We're mourning his untimely passing as our colleague, Fire Marshal Brian Williams, who died last week at the age of 52 years old. 20-year Fire Marshal for the town of Southampton. Was currently a ranger for the Community Preservation Office, where he played an important role in the town's effort to enforce proper use of the town's preserved open spaces. Brian started working for the town in November of 1999 and would have reached his 24th year anniversary of service with the town at the end of this month. He served on the CSEA Executive Board, working tirelessly for the union employees, where he will be remembered fondly for his willingness to always help out and the humor he displayed in any given situation. He was a lifelong resident of Flanders, where he was unofficially called the mayor of Flanders. Brian knew everyone, and everyone knew Brian. He had a way about him that drew people in and made them instantly like him. Brian was a life member of the Flanders Fire Department, a member since 1994. He was ex-chief of the department from 2001 to 2003. He was one of the organizers of this year's 75th anniversary parade for the Flanders Fire Department. He was a longtime commissioner of the Flanders Fire Department, being elected in 2005 and serving as its chairman for many years. He was president of the Southampton Town Fire Commissioners Organization and an ex-president of the Southampton Town Chiefs Council. He was recognized as Fireman of the Year for many years by the Flanders Fire Department and awarded an award given to the firemen with the most number of calls answered. We share our condolences with his family and his many friends. There will be visitation on Friday, November 17th from 5 to 9 p.m. At the Flanders Fire Department, 19 Firehouse Lane in Riverhead. There'll be a firematic service, at 7 p.m. at the Flanders Fire Department at 19 Firehouse Lane in Riverhead. The funeral service will be at the Galilee Church of God in Christ at 87 Old Riverhead Road in Riverhead on Saturday, November 18th. There's a 10 a.m. to 11, visitation, and then the funeral service to begin at 11 a.m. So why don't we join in a moment of silence in his memory. It's a big loss for the town. It's a big loss for the entire community, and particularly the community of Flanders. And we send our prayers to the Williams family in their loss. Let's join together. Thank you. Please be seated. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Supervisor Schneiderman.
Present.
Councilwoman McNamara. Present. Councilman Martell.
Present.
Councilman Bouvier.
Here.
Councilman Schiavone.
Present.
All right, we have a lot on our agenda, but before we get to the formal agenda, I'd like to invite our police chief, Chief Kiernan, up to say a few words about the rising anti-Semitism that we're seeing around the nation and within on the East End.
Thank you, Supervisor, Town Board.
community members, thank you for allowing me to speak this afternoon. As Chief of Police, I want to convey our united stance of the Southampton Town Police Department in offering unwavering support to all of our members of the community that are affected by anti-Semitism. Our commitment to combating anti-Semitism, hate speech, and actions has always been steadfast. And we've been fortunate that such incidents have been minimal in our community over the recent years. We have a community that doesn't just tolerate one another, we have a community that embraces the differences in all of us, and that's what makes us thrive as a community. Sadly, it is evident that anti-Semitism on a national level has resurfaced to a degree that we could never have anticipated in recent times. In this digital age, where information flows freely, young minds may be exposed to toxic rhetoric, potentially warping their perspectives with misinformation. Rest assured, we remain vigilant in our efforts to prevent the spread of this form of terrorism. We want you to know that we're here to assist. Do not hesitate to call upon us anytime. While we might not all share the same experiences, the same backgrounds, we are united as a community, as fellow human beings, and we stand together in these trying times. During this period of turmoil, please lean on us. Lean on us, your police department, for support and protection. We are here for you, sincerely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before you go, I think it's so important that we stand together as a community against all forms of hate and hate speech. In Montauk, just a couple weeks ago, swastikas were graffitied in many locations in that community. And, as a person of the Jewish faith who happens to like to go out to Montauk because of the peaceful feeling that I experienced when out there, you can imagine how that affects you. My dad was in World War II fighting, for the United States as we fought against Hitler and the Nazis. My mom, who was a Hungarian immigrant, came over as a very young child. She was about 16 years old. But the family that she left behind were rounded up and slaughtered by Hitler. And, I met some of my mother's friends when I was a kid. Her friend Margot, who was in the concentration camps, who had her toes frozen off, in the winters there. And another friend, Warner, who, had the tattoo of the numbers on his arm. So when, I see the symbols of the Nazis glorified by anyone, you can imagine how that makes you feel when a branch of your family tree was cut off. So, I'm not sure that the people who are doing these things understand the depth of the hurt that they cause when they do that, or maybe they do. I'm not sure 6 million Jewish people were systematically rounded up and slaughtered. That's twice the population of Nassau and Suffolk County. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. And it was done under that symbol of the swastika. So I appreciate you coming out.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you coming out. We need to stand together as a community and not tolerate anti-Semitism or hate speech of any kind. So thank you.
Agreed. Thank you.
Here, here.
Okay. All right, first order of business. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of our regular town board meeting of October 24th, 2023.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. All right, Madam Clerk, I'd like to ask you to read the communications.
The following communications have been received in my office of the town clerk. We have received public notices from the New York State Department of Public Service, a notice of information sessions and in-person public statement hearings regarding National Grid's KEDNY and KEDLI rate cases on November 14th and 15th. New York State liquor license 30-day advance notice to local municipality for a request for an all-night permit for New Year's Eve at a location at 125 Tuckahoe Lane, Southampton. New York State Office of Cannabis Management notification to municipality for 129 Seven Ponds Road in Watermill. Suffolk County Department of Economic Development and Planning, a 2023 Agricultural Districts Program and Shellfish Aquaculture Lease Program. The town fire districts, from the Riverhead Fire District, notice of public hearing regarding volunteer firefighter real property tax exemption, and notice of public hearing for proposition to amend the length of service awards program. Emails, letters, and land use applications have been received regarding the following: change of zone application for the preserve at South Country Road in Quiog, diner property Hampton Bays, Main Street Historic District Bridgehampton, New York State DEC grant proposal for Long Pond and Little Pond Lake Management Plan, Pine Neck Marina, Noyak, Sagaponic Beach Erosion Control District, Spring Farm, Moleville Preserves, West Hampton Beach Coast Guard Housing Plan, Zoning Board of Appeals matter for 2252 Montauk Highway in Bridgehampton, and the Zoning Board of Appeals application for 11 Robbins Lane in North Sea. The following bid was opened on October 25th, 2023 for V-Box and slat spreaders for the Highway Department, and the following report was filed by the Town Comptroller for the October 2023 monthly financial reports. And that concludes our communications for this meeting's agenda.
All right, thank you, Cindy. Okay, so we're going to go next to public hearings. We have 7 public hearings scheduled for this afternoon. We are doing this both live and via internet, remotely, and so people can participate in this hybrid meeting from their home or office or other remote locations. So in each case, if you wish to speak and you're here, we ask that you fill out a card. They're available outside. Each speaker will be afforded 3 minutes to make their comments known. The clerk will alert you when you're down to your last 30 seconds. All right, Madam Clerk, would you read the first public hearing notice?
Public hearing number 1 for the 2024 preliminary budget.
All right, thank you. This is a continuation of the public hearings we've been having on the proposed budget. This is basically determines how much taxes we will collect next year and what services will be provided with the money that we collect. So I want to thank the Comptroller for her hard work in working with the town and myself, town board and myself, to prepare the proposed budget. And I welcome any comments. We'll start with Gail Lombardi as our first speaker.
Good afternoon, Town Board. We've had this discussion for like 8 years, Jay, since you've been in office, about how you calculate, taxes on tax rate and kind of play the game. The town has been in very good financial shape, but the budget itself has gone up every year. I haven't looked in detail to this particular budget, but this agenda, 100 and X number of pages agenda, is filled with contracts, once again, that have not gone through any competitive bid. So I always wonder if we're really getting our, bang for our buck. Also, I didn't look this year because it's made me sick when I've looked other years of some of the salaries, and now that people are still working from home, how is that being monitored? And a lot of our employees, well-paid employees, large benefit packages, are working from home and have, side hustles, as my nieces and nephews say, including working for the municipalities. So how exactly are we getting our dollar for, a bang for our buck? It's a concern of mine. Next concern of mine is the Hampton Bays Water District. I know that that's not part of this budget, but you are our commissioners, and there's a lot going on with our water district. You're approving a lot of contracts, again, without the benefit of competitive bid to assist. You have something I'll discuss in public portion about a memorandum of understanding with the DEC that affects our water quality, our water. Where is all this money coming from? I mean, I feel like you spend money like it grows on trees, and the people in this room and the people in the town are the trees that you pick away at. And also, my father was a World War II veteran, and I do take country, religion, and faith, and just having good morals and ethics. You know, I stand on my soapbox. Sometimes we will make mistakes. We're human. But I hope this town board, ourselves, we hold ourselves out to the highest standard we could possibly do. And I don't feel, and I'm not saying the budget process, but I don't feel the way that this town has spent money over the past years is really to the highest standards. And I hope the new administration takes a little closer approach to some of it. Thank you.
Gail, just before you go, was there any specific changes you were looking for within the budget?
No, I didn't, honestly, Jay, this year, I gave up when I was on the CAC and one of the first years you were in office. We spent a lot of time going through the budget. And honestly, it was a big fat waste of time, and
Okay.
kind of over the 8 years, I've had enough of that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, I don't have any other cards on the first public hearing on the budget. Did I miss somebody who wanted to be heard? All right, with that, we'll go to our online audience. So if you're watching from your computer and you wish to be heard, you should be able to find the raise hand icon probably on the bottom of your screen. This is only for the public hearing on the proposed budget, not for anything else. But if you want to be heard on the budget, please click the raise hand icon.
There are no hands.
Okay. All right, I will make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Madam Clerk, the second public hearing notice?
Public hearing number 2, to consider any increases proposed in the maximum amount to be expended annually in the town of Southampton's special districts.
Okay, this again is a continuation of the hearing. This is on all of the special districts. Is there anyone who wishes to be heard? All right, seeing none, we'll go to our online audience. If you wish to be heard on the proposed
No participants.
special district levies, okay, no one, all right, I'll make a motion to
Before we,
close.
before we
sorry.
close the supervisor, I'd like to make a couple of comments on our special districts. At our last public hearing, a member from the community asked about the decrease in spending, or actually taxes collected on these special districts. It's represented in quotes on the public hearing notice here. And the reason why we decrease collecting taxes because of our abundance of interest that we have received on our reserves because of our higher interest rate. So it was not necessary for us to actually collect the same amount of taxes because we actually had the money. The spending is in fact the same, we're just collecting less taxes for it.
All right, thank you for that. And this all ends up as part of our overall tax cap calculation, which the budget does stay within the tax cap. Okay. So I'll make a motion to close public hearing number 2.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and we will move on to public hearing number 3. This is, well, go ahead, Madam Clerk, would you read the hearing notice?
Public hearing for 2024 fire protection contracts.
Okay, again, this is a continuation. Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on the fire protection contracts? All right, no one here. We'll go online. Please click the raise hand icon if you wish to be heard on the hearing for 2024 fire protection contracts.
No hands.
All right, I'll make a motion to close.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Um, We haven't done walk-ons yet. All right, can I pause for a second? Because I'd like to, as much time, I forgot to do this before. There are some walk-ons. If we could switch gears for a second. There are 9 resolutions that we're looking to add on to the agenda. The first one, 44814, is sponsored by Councilman Martell. Authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement with L.K. McLean Associates to provide engineering and technical services associated with the town's FEMA Advanced Assistance Funding. The assistance funding for a feasibility study and materials to support a grant application for FEMA's Hazard Mitigation Grant Program for Dune Road.
Sunday, I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Certainly.
Thank you.
All right, then 44819, which everybody's on as co-sponsoring. It's a 2023 notice to respondents for professional municipal sewer engineering services for the Riverside Sewer Project. The third one, 44824, which is co-sponsored with Councilman Bouvier, is a 2023 notice to bidders for West Hampton Community Center bid extension.
And if I may, Supervisor, it's just a 2-week extension, just want to make that clear.
44824 is a notice of public hearing to accept a deed of dedication in connection with the map of Riverhead Estates, map number 574, section D. 44824, sponsored by Councilman Martell, accepts Eagle Scout donation from Gabrielle Blows. 44829, authorize supervisor or town attorney to sign a stipulation of settlement agreement. 44834 is our 21st warrant. 44837 is a notice of public hearing to consider amending Town Code Chapter 330 zoning to establish standards and setbacks for pickleball courts. And 44844 accepts the resignation of Adam Grossman from the Zoning Board of Appeals. All right, so I'd like to make a motion to walk those 9 resolutions on.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Excellent. All right, so we'll take those, will all be added, and we'll get to them in due time. All right, so we are up at public hearing number 4. Madam Clerk, would you read the public hearing notice?
Public hearing number 4, as it relates to an improvement to the North Sea Beach Colony Beach Erosion Control District pursuant to Town Law, Section 202-B.
All right, and Deputy Town Attorney Kathleen Murray will introduce this.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good afternoon, members of the Town Board. This hearing is focused on renewing the North Sea Beach Colony Beach Erosion Control District Nourishment Project. By way of background, I'll just offer a little bit of a procedural and legal overview. As you know, town law allows the town board to create certain special improvement districts or special taxing districts to address particular projects within its jurisdiction. The legislature has identified those special improvement districts that may be formed, and a beach erosion control district is one such district. Specifically, the law allows the town board to create a beach erosion control district so that it may arrest erosion and prevent or alleviate damage from such erosion within the boundaries of the district. With this purpose in mind, and at the request of district property owners, the town board created the North Sea Beach Colony Beach Erosion Control District in 2018, which, since its creation, has placed approximately 25,500 cubic yards of dredged material along approximately 1,350 linear feet of district shoreline. The boundary of the ECD includes those homes shown on this aerial here, which comprises the North Sea Beach Colony. There are 62 taxable parcels in the colony. Of those parcels, 50 are inland properties and 12 are waterfront properties. As authorized in 2018, the total cost of the renourishment project for the district was $406,050. Of that cost, roughly $371,000 was financed through the issuance of bonds, and $35,000 was devoted to monitoring and surveying requirements, financed directly through the levying of taxes against the district. The life of the project and the attendant bond was 5 years, so we are now approaching the end of that 5-year mark. Recognizing that the 5-year mark was approaching, back in July of 2023, and based upon interest expressed from the ECD Advisory Committee, this board decided to move forward with beginning the next phase of a new 5-year project. That next phase was realized in Town Board Resolution number 931 of 2023, adopted on July 25th, authorizing the preparation of a map, plan, and engineering report attendant to a second nourishment project. That map and plan has been completed by First Coastal Consulting and proposes a maximum estimated cost of the improvement, inclusive of interest, to be approximately $325,000 for the district. That total cost is realized as a maximum of $310,000 allocated for the construction or the movement and placement of sand, and $15,000 attributable to the required project monitoring over the life of the project or another 5 years. This also supposes a 3.25% interest rate on that bond. And point of information, it's about $81,000 less than your first project, so about 20% less than that first nourishment project. As it relates to the levying of taxes and the raising of funds, back in 2013, withdrawn 2018, the district chose a benefit basis methodology. That benefit formula combines an initial flat rate for a waterfront parcel of $1,400 or an initial flat rate for an inland parcel of $650 combined with the assessed value of each parcel within the district. Pursuant to Town Law 202 sub 4 and 5, just a note, that methodology must remain the same, it cannot be changed. Given those details, Aram Tuchernian will now speak to you about the specific engineering proposal and the details for the district, should you choose to move forward, and if you don't have any further questions for me at this time.
Let's see if there's any questions for Kathleen first. Yeah, Kathleen, it was a 5-year bond?
It was, yes.
Okay, so we've reached the end of it?
Correct.
Okay, and when you said the funding formula, it had, the waterfront properties had a particular amount plus then ad valorem, so that would then repeat itself?
Correct. That benefit basis, that methodology must remain the same for the life of the district. So
So this-
1,400 for your waterfront parcels, 650 for the inland parcels, and then the rest is made up of assessed value.
Is that spread out, or is that each year?
Each year.
Each year?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Yeah, a chart of costs, just a point of information, this notice of public hearing was sent to every property owner within the district at the address at which they received their tax bills, and a chart of costs was also included in that, indicating how much it would be for the years for them,
Okay.
each property owner.
All right, thank you. All right, Aaron?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Aram Tertunian, First Coastal Consulting, West Hampton Beach, New York. I want to thank the board for their support of this project in the past. It's been truly a remarkable effect. The community, as I think you will hear from the president of the association, is extremely pleased with the result. I also want to thank town staff, Marty Shea, but especially Kathleen Murray, who, as you just heard, is truly a true professional. She so clearly understands this material. It's really super to work with her. Thanks, Kathleen.
She's the one in the statement.
But before I get on with my presentation, Mr. Supervisor, I want to thank, first of all, the retiring town board members for their service. But Mr. Supervisor, I have a special gift for you.
Is it sand, green sand? or-
Everyone thought it was sand, but it isn't.
Thank you.
Is it more than $15?
25.
It's actually free.
Should I open it?
You may. So a number of years ago, I made a journey
My
to
party.
Southampton, England. And when I arrived there, I delivered a proclamation signed by our town supervisor to our more or less namesake city in England. And I was received there by the Lord Mayor of Southampton. And if you look in 27 East, you'll see a copy of the photo of he and I. And at that meeting, he bestowed upon me to deliver to you this hat and this tie.
All right, so let's see what we
And
have.
it's been sitting in my office now for several years, waiting for the precise moment.
From Southampton, England.
Southampton, England, and the logo of the crest of the city of Southampton is on the tie.
All right.
So
This is my parting gift.
it took me a while to deliver it, but here it is.
Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it.
Hey, I'm leaving too, Aaron. What's going on?
So it's Rick. Everybody wants a hat.
All right, I have to go back.
Kathleen, is that below the acceptable threshold for receiving gifts? Okay.
I'll have to check with
Okay.
Well, if you
Mayor
wear
of
it in England.
Southampton.
Yeah, you're gonna have to, I'm just the delivery service.
You're gonna have to give some of the time.
So back to the matter at hand.
What kind of cost?
So the performance on this project has been excellent. There's a robust beach there. We've done, in addition to the initial nourishment, there's been 2 subsequent nourishments. One is underway right now. It's about halfway done. It'll be completed before Thanksgiving. And that is using the last of the money from the initial bond that Kathleen described. So one of the measures of the success of this project is that when Storm Elliott hit this past January, there was damage, but the beach did its job. It survived the storm, but there were losses. And because this beach was created in a manner that meets FEMA's designation for an engineered beach, we're actually eligible for reimbursement of those losses. So we're currently working with Ryan Murphy in Public Safety to prepare our application for reimbursement for those losses. And when that's complete, it'll be sent in, and hopefully we'll see some money from the federal government to help offset the costs that the community has incurred. The other thing I just want to briefly mention is that is green sand. So
All of you.
Olivine.
Over here, Aaron.
Thank you.
Give him the.
Carbon
Same one.
sequestration.
So in 2022, this board authorized a modification of the environmental permits at North Sea Beach Colony, and we received that authorization from the Army Corps of Engineers, New York State Coastal Management, and New York State DEC to place olivine into the water on this beach in order to sequester carbon. And that olivine is the most abundant mineral in the Earth's crust and is the natural part of the carbon cycle on the Earth. And I'm happy to report after now in our second year that the project is sequestering carbon as we speak, approximately 9 tons per year. So we put down approximately 500 cubic yards of olivine sand, to about 650 tons. And that olivine is sequestering about 9 tons per year. We're wrapping up the second year of project monitoring, and we'll be delivering a monitoring report to the town and the state in January of next year. Which brings me to the proposed 5-year plan going forward. As Kathleen explained the costs involved, I'll tell you what that means. Essentially, we have restored the sediment balance on this beach. So going forward, there's going to be an on-year and an off-year where the sand is deposited on the west side of the inlet, which is towards the colony, and on the east side of the inlet towards Town Point, as opposed to, it had been only to Town Point for almost a decade, and now in the last 5 years it's been coming to the west. This year by necessity, because the emergency dredging done in May could not go to Town Point because of piping plover, so had to come to the west side. So we're going forward, it's going to be an on-year and an off-year for the renourishment, and we're going to continue to coordinate that with the Suffolk County Department of Public Works, has been doing a great job, and also with the Druckenmiller family, whose property the sand is placed on before it is then moved over to the colony, who've been tremendously cooperative and great partners. And really, that's where we are. It's,
What happened to that pipe that was purchased? Was it purchased?
We never did purchase the pipe, and the community decided, instead of moving in that direction, that it was more cost-effective to move the sand mechanically after we did an analysis.
Okay.
I have a question about the olivine. Are there ongoing studies to test the effect on the bay, specifically pH level?
Well,
The changes in pH levels?
yeah, pH is definitely, I will send you our more detailed report. But the answer is yes, but we agreed to, Vesta agreed rather, to 2 years of monitoring, which are wrapping up this year. But the pH results are actually the key to the fact that olivine is working.
Right.
But the studies that we've done have looked not only at pH and other geochemistry, but also at the impact on horseshoe crab eggs, on oysters, and on all the resident
organisms that are on the floor of the bay right now. So it's a very, very thick report. But the news is no adverse impacts are identifiable with any of the organisms, and the carbon is being sequestered.
Thank you.
What's the status of the beach right now? Is it held up, or is it?
Yeah, the beach is held up.
So
It's
because you're going to redo the project in a way,
Mhm.
but you're starting at a point now that's a better point than you were the last time you did it. So it's gonna be actually a wider beach than at the conclusion of the last time the sand was pushed down, is that incorrect?
It's going to be higher. It's not really going to be that much wider.
little
Our
steep.
design width was around 25 feet, which has been maintaining. But instead of being at about 2.5 or 3 feet above sea level, it's going to be about 4 to 5 feet above sea level.
So the angle will be a little steeper?
Well, it'll be just a little higher on top. The angle to the water is going to stay the same because that's going to be dictated by the waves.
Okay.
Aram, is it possible for you to forward that report, the olivine study?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe I delivered a PowerPoint to the board
Yeah,
a couple
I saw
months
that,
ago.
But you were representing.
Well, that one's coming in January, but I'll make sure you get it regardless.
Great, I appreciate that, thank you.
So the current proposed project is very similar to the first project?
It is. What we're doing, though, is we're decreasing the volume over time because we don't need as much sand to maintain the system as we needed to build the system.
Okay. Got it. Any other questions about the project? All right, thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I have a couple cards. So we're gonna start with Robert J. Bonner.
Yes. Mr. Town Supervisor, members of the town board, Kathleen Murray, just want to say on behalf of North Sea Beach Colony Association, and I'm a past president of that association, that we thank you very much for your support, your efforts in guiding us through a very, very complicated procedure. And so with that, I'll just leave, but I thank you all very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Forgive me if I mispronounce this. Dr. Mike Lonergan?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I will tell you that this is the first time that I've been to a board meeting since retiring as school superintendent for the Longwood School District 2 years ago. And
Wow.
nice to see you, and certainly relate with everything that you do for our town.
State your name?
Michael Lonergan,
Oh.
yes,
I had that
59
right.
Bay Street, North Sea Beach Colony. Just a moment to say thanks again, as my neighbor has also mentioned. This is my family 100th year on the bluff in North Sea Beach Colony. We watched many things happen to the beach there over 100 years as a family, and your intervention and assistance with us of these last number of years has certainly helped to keep our property safe. And quite frankly, for most of all of New York and anybody who visits us during the summer, who enjoys our beach and walks down there, it was a good move, and we appreciate the support and hopefully continue with it. So thank you very much.
Good.
Thank you.
All right, those are the only cards I had. Was there anyone else in our audience who wished to be heard on this? This is public hearing number 4 on North Sea Beach Colony Erosion Control Project.
Hi, I'm Julie Medler. I'm president of the North Sea Beach Colony Association. Our chair of the NSBC ECD Citizens Advisory Committee, Guido Shatneck, could not be here in person, so I had a few comments on his behalf.
Okay.
Kathleen covered a lot of the background that he gave me, so I won't repeat all that. I think it's important to note, as Michael referenced, there are a lot of people in this colony who are third, fourth generation. Many families, my own has been there 83 years. There are other people in the room here who've been there many, many years, so it's important to us, and we all appreciate the support we've gotten. I think it's important also to know that this initial proposal for extension was presented in full to the entire association back in May, and the association overwhelmingly voted in favor of the 5-year extension. Furthermore, in Labor Day, the whole association was presented much more detail in terms of costs and so forth and taxing. And again, at our Labor Day meeting, we had a unanimous vote in favor of the proposal, 39 homes were represented, 49 homeowners, everyone voted in favor of the proposal. Besides the written notification that was mailed that Kathleen referenced, we also have sent out electronic communication, which included all the details and the costs.
So I remember when we first did this 5 years ago, I don't recall it being unanimous. In fact, I recall some opposed to it, and I don't even think the town board voted unanimously in support of it. So it sounds like it's been a real success, and the homeowners now
It
are
has been, and just
100%
to
behind it.
clarify, for the unanimous vote at the Labor Day, our Labor Day Association meeting was for everyone present, which were 39 homes represented and 49 homeowners or 50 homeowners present, or, I'm sorry, 62 homeowners present, 39 homes represented. That was unanimous. But by surveying everyone, it's not 100% unanimous, but in terms of overall, but the vast majority. You'd get over 80% for sure.
It's hard to get 100%.
It's hard to get 100% on anything,
anything.
that's correct, yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else just on this public hearing on North Sea Beach Colony? All right, we'll go online. If you're watching this meeting remotely and wish to be heard only at public hearing number 4 on the North Sea Beach Colony Erosion Control Project, now is your time to be heard. Just click the raise hand icon. No hands. Okay, Kathleen, can I close this? There's
Yes.
no reason to leave it open?
Correct. I would recommend closing it, perhaps a written comment period if you'd like.
Um, What's the board's pleasure?
10-day written comment.
We'll close the hearing, leave the written record open for 10 days?
10 days.
Everybody okay with that? All right, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing and leave the written record open for 10 days.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Kathleen, for all your work on this.
Thank you. Okay, those exiting, if you could do so quietly so we can continue on. All right, our 5th public hearing. Madam Clerk, can you read the notice, please?
Public hearing number 5, to consider a local law enacting Chapter 255 of the Code of the Town of Southampton entitled Prohibition on Peddling or Solicitation Within Roadways.
All right, Sean Cambridge, Assistant Town Attorney, will introduce us.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good afternoon, members of the town board. So I kind of surmise this seems a little complicated at first glance. So let's start at the beginning. Complaints were coming in that people were peddling, soliciting behaviors some may characterize as begging within center lanes of travel, particularly in Hampton Bays. This is problematic because it leads to car accidents with pedestrians, and it creates a dangerous situation for first responders who are now trying to render aid in a center median that's not designed for pedestrian access. This has been a growing issue, and it's an issue that overlaps with First Amendment and protected free speech considerably. In 2015, the Supreme Court ruled in Reed v. Town Gilbert that this type of behavior is protected free speech. Excuse me, my little one got up at 4 a.m. today, so I'm having trouble, tracking my language here. So municipalities may regulate in a narrowly tailored fashion to serve a legitimate government purpose. That really means if we're going to regulate in this area, we better have a great reason to do it, which we do. We're trying to prevent these types of accidents. That being said, we can regulate the center medians and lanes of travel. The court specifically ruled that sidewalks are an area for free speech where this kind of behavior is encouraged, permitted. So we don't want to have an outright prohibition. Some municipalities have tried to skirt this ruling and have prohibited certain roadways. Appellate courts have ruled that by prohibiting roadways worth soliciting on, it might as well be an outright prohibition on this type of behavior. So we don't want to go into that area. We want to protect and respect people's First Amendment rights. They are quite important, as we all know. This is a way where we can regulate to encourage public safety, to keep people from being hit by vehicles, and to protect our first responders who are going to render aid to these folks. We have a couple of different provisions here. We have a prohibition on this behavior, and then we have an exception section that has been drafted. We don't want this to apply where there's a special event going on, and a road is closed, where people can walk within the roadway. It kind of eliminates the purpose. We don't have vehicles now. We don't want this regulation where the town's issued a permit. Sometimes volunteer fire departments, for example, do boot drives. They have emergency lights and sirens and vehicles set up to control the traffic, so it eliminates the public safety risk. So we want to be able to permit these types of activities as well.
Would you explain what a boot drive is, please?
Sure. Members of the
I
community
know
will
what it
donate to provide new equipment for first responders. So they'll stop, make their donation, and move on. But there are emergency lights set up, barricades, traffic controls, things that we would not have in this situation otherwise. So we want to permit this type of activity. It's a fondly, it's something that we do here. This is something that the public likes to do. And
Saying
to
like when
support,
the fire department or the ambulance
Right.
departments go out there with the little bucket,
right,
ask for donations.
usually around the holidays, that type of thing. It's something that we want to
But
be
they
able
have
to
to get
permit.
a permit for that.
They can get a
Right.
permit, and they have traffic controls. They have these vehicles with lights and sirens and things that'll protect the people collecting.
So
in
like the
these
Salvation
celebrations.
Army could get a permit to be out there collecting donations for the poor.
Absolutely, they could. And then our final exceptions are those engaged in governmental activities. This is not going to apply to police officers doing that checkpoint. And this is not going to apply to motorists who are broken down. So someone who is getting off the roadway, trying to flag down help, that's not a violation of this section. All right, any questions?
Yeah, this is specific to roadways and not the right-of-way.
Correct. This is roadways
So-
and lanes of travel.
Okay.
How does it distinguish between town roads, county roads, and state roads?
It does not.
So we can pass prohibitions on roads that don't belong to us?
It's an activity. It's not a prohibition on the road, it's a prohibition on the behavior.
So, for instance, a state road, do we have to get permission from New York State to enact such a regulation?
No, you don't. So if somebody had an open alcohol container on a state road, same thing. We're regulating their conduct. That's a violation of local law.
It's not like you're putting up a traffic device or something. It's
Right.
the activity.
Quite the opposite, actually.
Okay, any other questions for Mr. Cambridge? All right, we do have cards on this.
Thank you.
We will start with Ms. Gail Lombardi.
So I want to thank Mr. Martell for sponsoring this. I've heard the complaints in town, I know that the town attorney is saying that, it can't be on the sidewalks as a regular pedestrian. It is actually a little unnerving to have, a handful, because it's not just one person, approach me. But that's something I guess I have to deal with myself personally. I'm glad to hear, actually, one of my notes was my concern that I didn't see where the fire department and ambulance was specifically excluded. And as Sean said, to me, that's kind of, it builds community. So you got so used to those things. At first, when I moved out here, I was like, what the hell, they're like blocking traffic. But you get used to it, and you look forward to it, and you get to see the faces of the people that are volunteering. But I think it's important because, as now only a passenger in a car, people don't know where they're going, usually on Route 24 especially. If you've ever, even from my usable vision, people are confused there, like, they're visitors and stuff, and when you have all this activity, it does create a hazard. I wish there was more that we could do, from a personal perspective, me feeling for my safety, because I do walk from my house to Panera, and, it is a little unnerving sometimes to deal with aggressive people, but I'm aggressive, so I guess, the people have to deal with me. But anyway, so I'm hoping that you guys will, take Mr. Councilperson Martell's lead and approve the resolution. Thank you.
All right, next is Kristen Muhlenhausen.
Hello. Thank you for having this up. I agree with this. I'll be short and sweet. I have been avoiding certain areas in Hampton Bays by car because of this. You can come down 24 and you make a left at the diner, and there's pretty much a concerted effort for a couple people to be panhandling there, and it is quite scary because if there is a green light, people are trying to catch the light, make that turn, and you've got two people sitting there. One is often sitting down. They would have no reaction time to get up, get out the way. If a car was distracted, they could get hit. It's serious. You know, I mean, I'm a medical person. I always think of, oh my God, what if that happened, you know? It's definitely dangerous, so it does not belong in the street. And unfortunately, it's happening not just on the street, but if that's something that we can control and avoid a major accident or a problem, I agree with us. Just some input.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Eileen McFellin? I may be mispronouncing that.
Thank you. Regarding the panhandle situation in that one direct place, if you drive into Hampton Bays in any direction, and there are people there who are panhandling, safety factor, yeah, I do believe there's a safety factor. It's very distracting to drivers. More so, it's, I'm just gonna use the word disturbing, to think that when you come into a town, this is beyond looking at that diner, you're distracted by these people who, in essence, it says, your town does not take care of your poor. That is not true in Hampton Bays. I know that in many different ways, how we take care of them. But I know there are people that refuse to have any kind of aid. They don't belong there. I don't know what you can do about it. I did listen to the legal aspect, but there should be something down that can make that place a place where nobody is allowed to stand and do anything. It's very dangerous just to cross in that area, and I understand that. But that's going from one place to another. To stand in the middle and distract people doesn't seem like it's lawful. And I do know there have been instances where there has been yelling. They're not all quiet and calm about trying to get anything. So if in fact they're standing there and they're looking for any money, does that mean they're going to then come off that area, go into the road to go to a car and collect that money? Is the person supposed to get out of their car and then stop traffic so they can give them something? It doesn't work, it's not right, and there should be something lawful against it. Thank you for listening.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ray D'Angelo is next.
Ray D'Angelo, Hampton Bays. I just want to comment that I support this wholeheartedly. I don't think it goes far enough. We have to distinguish between regular panhandling and aggressive panhandling. And what's going on here is aggressive panhandling. These guys migrate from the Panera to the medium, back and forth. They got a wheelchair. It's about a group of 5 or 6 of them. They accost people that are going into Panera and coming out of Panera. My wife's been bothered by them. And this is aggressive panhandling, which I don't think is covered by what you were saying. This is not a First Amendment right. This is harassment on their part. And we have to distinguish that behavior between people just asking for a handout and people aggressively getting people's faces. And that's what we have now, and it's getting worse. Now, I think it's gonna calm down a little bit now we're getting into colder weather. But this really reached a peak in the summer, and it really was, I had to go with my wife to get coffee all the time because she was really upset about this. So I think we have to distinguish between, again, regular panhandling, somebody just asking for a handout, and aggressive panhandling, which was going on here. And it went out unabated. No one did anything about it. So this is needed, and I support it, and I hope we get it passed. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anyone else wanting to be heard on this panhandling prohibition law? I don't have any other cards. We'll go online. This is public hearing number 5. Anyone wishing to be heard by the town board, please click the raise hand icon.
No participants.
Sean, can I ask you a question? Of course. The penalties in here, you have a no less than $250 for the first penalty.
Yes.
Do these individuals who are basically begging on State Route 24 have the ability to pay a $250 penalty?
Possibly not.
Why is there no judge's discretion here?
Well, the judge always has discretion. So these are the sentencing guidelines. Judges often will sentence people to whatever they want. They can dismiss a charge if they'd like. This is meant as a deterrent factor, that there's something that can happen. These are not bailable offenses, so somebody cannot be taken into custody and held for something like this. There is a penal law offense for disorderly conduct for people that are particularly in aggressive situations. However, that's also a violation level offense. So the hope is putting a fine there. When this was discussed with the police chief, with public safety, with Councilman Martell, this is a deterrent factor. I'm going to face a fine if I engage in this.
So it's the fine or up to 15 days imprisonment?
Correct.
And
That's our standard language for a violation
I
level
know
offense.
that people, it can be uncomfortable and it can be dangerous. There are concerns about these individuals who are begging out on the street, but I don't think anybody wants to send them to jail either.
Well, and there's also subsection B, in lieu of a fine, a judge may allow for community service not to exceed 24 hours. That can help the community. That could often help these folks get on their feet. They start volunteering, that turns into a job. Next thing you know, they're no longer looking to solicit donations. They're being
Right.
paid.
In the perfect world, nobody would need to beg for money,
Right.
right? It's Christmas time, pretty soon, and Thanksgiving time, and it's time of giving. So, all right, so the judges still can have discretion,
Right, the
even though
judge-
it says no less than $250?
The judge always has
'Cause
discretion.
If they had $250, I don't think they'd be out there
Right.
begging. All right.
So Sean, I just want to say thank you for putting this together. In essence, this really is a safety issue. If you come down Route 24, the people who know that they're going to be there panhandling are veering to the right-hand lane. They're veering far to the right to make a U-turn to avoid these people because they have been getting aggressive.
Right.
And it's not just at this road intersection, it's at others. So I think it's would be a big help for the safety of everybody driving those roads and for them. As the police chief explained to us in one of the last visits, even the people coming from the west who are turning north onto Route 24 are literally stopping in the lane to give a couple dollars. And that's, the accidents are just gonna start piling up. It's a bad enough intersection already. So I wholeheartedly thank you for this, and we need this.
Thank you as well.
All right, any other questions for Sean?
Thank you.
All right, Rick, you want to close the hearing?
Yes, sir.
All right, so, motion to close the public hearing by Councilman Martell, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Madam Clerk, would you read the sixth public hearing notice?
Public hearing number 6, to amend Town Code, Chapter 312-19, parking prohibited in designated locations in order to add regulations on a portion of Lake Avenue and Wildwood Trail, Northampton.
All right, who is introducing this? All right, Tom Houghton, our town engineer, will introduce this.
Good afternoon, Mr. Supervisor. So this is public hearing 6 and 7?
6 for now.
6 for now, which is just the Wildwood one.
Do you want us to call both together? or-
They are,
Are they related?
yeah, they're related. Be easier to speak about both of them since they
All
are
right,
adjacent
Madam
roads, just different
Clerk, would you
parts.
read the seventh public hearing notices?
I certainly can. Public hearing number 7, to enact Town Code, Chapter 312-49.4, no stopping on portion of County Road 63, Lake Avenue, Northampton, from County Road 51, Moriches Riverhead Road to Lakeview Drive.
All right, and again, town engineer Tom Houghton will introduce, I guess, both of these.
Yes, so
These two public hearings deal with a abundance of cars parking on the shoulder of the road on Lake Avenue, as well as County Road 63 and around the corner on Wildwood Trail in Northampton. This is in the vicinity of the town park that's in that area, as well as the bowling alley that used to be there. We consulted with Suffolk County as far as County Road 63. The county wrote us a letter that they performed a traffic study, and they recommend no stopping at any time on County Road 63 in that area, which is public hearing number 7. So they recommend no stopping whatsoever, not even dropping people off, which is the most restrictive parking prohibition. We looked at the town roads in that vicinity on either side of 63, so Wildwood Trail, Lake Avenue. We recommended no parking so that you could still drop people off, you can still get deliveries at your house, the like. It's a less restrictive one, but we didn't feel that we needed to go to the level that the county was looking for on a county road. So that is why there are 2 separate public hearings, because we're amending different sections of the parking code.
And how about County Road 51? Did the county recommend no stopping on that?
They
as
did
well?
not. County Road
They just
51
said-
is way outside of it, so it extends from 51 all the way to
Oh, right.
Lake
I
Avenue
get it.
on 63. Yeah, so in order to reasonably drop someone off in front of the park or in front of the previous bowling alley, you would make that right turn onto 63 from 51.
That will be the location.
And 51 has a shoulder, so if someone was to pull over on 51, it's not the worst, whereas 63 has very little shoulder as you make that right-hand turn.
Yep.
So,
Okay, any other questions for Mr. Houghton? All right, I don't have any cards on this. Is there anyone who wanted to be heard at this 6th or 7th public hearing? All right, we'll go online. So we are soliciting comments for public hearing 6 and public hearing 7 related to Wildwood Lake in Northampton, the roads in that area. If you want to be heard, click the raise hand icon. Anyone, Charlie?
I don't think anyone's raising their hand.
Charlie?
There's no one.
All right.
Close it.
So, Councilor Martell, these are both, you're the lead sponsor on both.
Yeah, I think we've had both Franca here and the people from the Wildwood Lake area speaking about this, so I feel comfortable closing them as is.
All right, so we're gonna have to do this with 2 separate motions. So you're on the first one, which is public hearing number 6. You're making a motion to close.
Correct.
Seconded by Councilman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that is closed. And then public hearing number 7, same motion, same second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Thank you.
Rick, thank you for taking the lead on this. I know you did a lot of work on it.
Okay, thank you. So that gets us to the end of the public hearings. We're gonna go to public portion. I have several cards for public portion. I'll take them in the order they were received. Bridget Mayer is first.
Good afternoon. First, I'd just like to thank you for your words on anti-Semitism. It is critical that we continue to speak out against this kind of hatred. Okay, I'm not going to be quite as cordial as the North Sea Beach speakers. They seem to have had a different experience than I have. I hope someday I'm here thanking you. After watching the November 9th Town Board work session, I would like to thank Ms. McNamara for her direct and very reasonable response to a notice of public hearing to adopt a climate action plan. She asked, has anybody read this? She suggested reviewing the plan and offering input before it was sent off to the Suffolk County Planning Commission or the Planning Board. That makes perfect sense. She said again, we haven't even seen it. And Mr. Martell pointed out he is a sustainability liaison, and he hadn't heard about much about it in a while. Look what happened the last time we didn't properly review things. We spent almost 5 months coming here until we were heard. We have been led to believe that nothing much can or will go on during the 6-month best moratorium. And yet the elusive, not so elusive anymore because I guess it was published last night, climate action plan is being, as discussed in the March 15th public engagement session, directly covers the topic of BESS. We feel like we are constantly being hoodwinked. You claim to want to include the community in input from these major initiatives that directly affect our lives, but then fail to include us in a BESS task force. Margaret Friedlander asked pointed questions about this in the public engagement session, and she got no answers. She got a runaround. Frankly, we don't trust you. Why all the secrecy and subterfuge and rush to get this jammed through before the departure of some of the members? It's like a weird cabal. A climate action plan is a very reasonable course of action to take. But how about we get a peek at what it entails to make sure the plan is equitable and we are all sharing the burden of some of the more difficult solutions. I don't have gifts to give you. Just a request. Please stop acting like lords of the manor and we are the fiefdom. We are your constituency. We are just asking you to please listen to what we have to say and include us in these important decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Bridget.
And thank you for your service.
All right, Gail Lombardi, you are next.
Okay, so I can't really follow Bridget because she said exactly what I wanted to say. I mean, there's nothing else left on that. I do have a couple other points on that and 2 other resolutions. The problem I've had, and I've had right along, is here we're talking about a climate change, but you don't follow SECRA. I don't know, State Energy Quality Review Act, I don't know, call me crazy. You put in all these ad hoc sound bites to a comprehensive plan without any SECRA review. We have like a mishmash of a comprehensive plan, and Michael brought it up at the Civic Association's debate, and it's ridiculous at this point. And you're not pivoting. You have new information on CCA, you have new information on BESS, and you still think you're going to be 100% renewable in 18 months. I would like to see if the nuclear plant is going next to my house. I don't know. So I can't really add much to Bridget. I do want to say to Eileen's point about Mr. Martell's thing, just going back a couple other resolutions. I volunteer at Moran's Haven, so Mr. Schneiderman, I understand your point, but people who want help get help. There's a lot of people out here that do not. I've dealt with hundreds of homeless people over my lifespan. They don't want help. You do the best you can to help them, but there's a lot of people that just don't want it. The other 2 resolutions is 2023-1355, 12 years of putting forth a town board public hearing to have 12 years. That puts somebody in office for 24 years, God help us. Now I know that, I read the resolution, there's some kind of study done. I'd like to know where that study is. 900 towns. I looked for something online, and please don't tell me that any one of our highly paid employees have spent a lot of time on that resolution to try to push for 12 years. Look at New York City. 3 referendums, they all voted down the 12 years. When career politicians voted in, it seems to get in. But when it gets put to the people, it gets voted down. So I really strongly suggest that you don't push through that public hearing, that does not get approved. And if you truly want to get the sense of the community, put out a referendum. The last thing is there's a memorandum of understanding in DEC. This is close to my heart on the Superfund site. There was supposed to be a public hearing before anything got done. I don't understand what happened. The DEC website does not have an updated notice. So if you guys have updated information about the plan of remediation, that was supposed to be coming before us. as the public, before anything got done, number one. And as water commissioners, you haven't updated us on anything since 2019. What's going on? You're spending a ton of money. I don't watch all the work sessions, but I understand there's some issues. We're paying a lot of money for our water, and we expect clean water, and we expect, transparency in that. So I think those are my issues, and thank you, Bridget.
All right, thank you. All right, next up, Peter Governale? Governale?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I think I made that mistake last time, too. Governale.
Good afternoon. I just want to speak again about this climate action plan that I guess not many people knew about until recently. And then I watched a video on it, which was from March 2023. So the plan is very comprehensive. It involves a lot of things, lots. Some of the things are very simple and basic, but many things are very complex and complicated. And those complicated things, I should take research and studies rather than just saying it's not really a simple yes or no decision. Okay? They also are going to involve a lot of money, funding for each program, and where does that come from? So I have a couple of summary statements here that I've made. So really, most of the concepts, which they really are the concepts, are disruptive in nature. Okay, for the good, yes, and maybe for the bad, we don't know yet. Okay, they'll all take a lot of money, commitment, time, research, on many levels. It's changing infrastructure, implementing new equipment, technologies, land modifications, safety issues, environmental issues, and modifications of people's lifestyles. Okay, what is this all going to cost us? How long is the ROI on all of this? How long are the benefits of all this green technology going to take to actually see a reward for us? Yes, over time it'll be okay, but to implement everything in this big rush and big push at this time, I think is a little bit excessive. Everybody needs change. But to rush things now and not thoroughly think through things and what it could be done and research things properly is the problem. Okay, going back to the best situation, okay, that was what happened there, was that it was a rushed decision until everyone said, wait a minute, let's look at this, let's see what's going to happen. This parallels that in a way, but it just needs more understanding, more conversation, more discussions before something like this magnitude can be pushed through. So I'm just asking you, please, review, think about what I'm saying. Let's take this on a slower pace, review it the way it should be reviewed, discuss it the way it should be discussed, and make the right decisions along the way. Because you don't want to do damage now, something now that could create damage in the future just by overlooking certain things that could have been done if it was taken over more time. Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Kristen Millenhausen?
I have a question before I just begin. I just want to make this clear in my head. If this plan moves forward, this is going to be part of the comprehensive plan for all of Southampton town, correct? Every resident, it'll apply to everybody, the roughly 60,000
Yes,
people. Okay.
It would be an update to the comprehensive plan.
Okay, I just want to understand that, because sometimes I get confused with government lingo, and yeah. So I wrote this so as not to confuse myself. So, dear Supervisor Schneiderman and Town Council persons, after having experienced BESS, I've decided to get more engaged and have been watching work sessions in town board meetings. The work session on 11/9, specifically at minutes 34 to 41, gave me a true sense of urgency to research more town board resolution on the climate action plan. Although there is a public hearing that you will vote to put forth for December 12th, 2023, I'm urging the entire board to hold off on that vote until every council person and the supervisor has thoroughly watched the video of the climate action plan of 2023, as well as looked at the survey from 2022, as well as read the 100-some pages that just got posted online that we just had access to. Okay. Both items contain outdated data online. Forwarding this to the Suffolk County Planning and Planning Board would be an embarrassment on all of our parts because it's like putting the cart before the horse. It's just like Bess. As you raise your eyebrows, it's just like Bess. The video on the Climate Action Plan of March of 2023 has Ms. Shearer talking at roughly minute 55 onward about Bess standards. Since that time, Bess and the industry at large, as we, a township, know, has changed, prompting a task force by Governor Hochul. Janice states she feels, quote, confident the code's compliant. After hours of diligence by community members and the town board implementing a moratorium, Mr. Schneiderman, you stated if the moratorium happened for Bess, it would be important for us to figure out solutions for Bess. Yet that has not happened. No task force has been created. Okay. Our neighbors in Southold have a 12-month moratorium and implemented a task force immediately. We have inquired as to why no movement on a task force has occurred, and it's because we're waiting on Governor Hochul. This does not help our current township move forward when we want to enact a task force. The MEEC survey for the Climate Action Plan online has a maximum of 399 respondents back in August of 2022, which has less than 300 year-round residents. And this is a very poor representation of the 60,000 people in our township. Neither video nor survey is bilingual, disenfranchising, again, our Spanish-speaking population, which I get back to.
30 seconds.
Adding something of this magnitude to a comprehensive plan requires a thorough review, not a one-day opportunity for board members to vet the plan and vote. And I'm going to fast forward because we have a very talented board of people coming in. If you have faith in the future talents and experience of coming in, including Mike Iacilli, who actually at a candidate board debate said, we need to update a lot of things at Town Hall. So I think we have the talent moving forward, and I think rushing to do this now is reckless. And I think you're going to wind up with another big problem with people coming to Town Hall on December 12th, because people are up in arms. People are watching this video, people are watching that video, and they're feeling like things are outdated. It's very disheartening. This is for the record. May I hand it in?
Sure. Thank you, Kristen. All right, Eileen McFellin is next.
Thank you.
No, passing? All right, Margaret Freelander. Margaret, you're up next.
Good afternoon, everyone. I support all the comments you've just heard regarding the Climate Action Plan concerns and that resolution. I understand your work doesn't end until the end of the year, but I'm astounded that you would even propose something like this and put a resolution on here. It's such bad faith for all the reasons that were stated. The 6-month moratorium, what's been going on? My only understanding and update came from Rick Martell, who said, and excuse me if I'm misremembering, Rick, that nothing's going on and you're waiting for Huckle, and you're also, haven't been able to get a subject matter expert without skin in the game to, continue the education process. Unacceptable. I feel like it's Groundhog Day and I'm angry. I'm seriously angry, and we have a new board coming in. And to put this in at the nth hour, to me, is just a slap in the face. This is best left to the new town board, because I have a vote of no confidence in you as a whole board because of what happened with Bess and your decisions. And the three, Mr. Scavone, Mr. Bouvier, and unfortunately you, Jay, held out the longest to change your position. And now you're doing this? Unacceptable. And then in terms of the resolution for term limits, again, nth hour, unacceptable. And I will do everything I can to stop that. And if you want to do term limits, no sour grapes. I ran for Southampton Town Trustee and did not get a seat on the board, and that's totally fine. But let's look at term limits for the trustees. East Hampton enacted term limits for their trustees. So term limits, depending again on who's got skin in the game, different points of view. I think, it goes back to, Benjamin Franklin, who talked about free governments. The elected officials serve the people. I don't want the same people for term limits of 12 years. It's unacceptable. And it's time to go, respectfully.
All right. Ray D'Angelo is next.
Always a pleasure to see everybody. Ray D'Angelo, Hampton Bays. Now it's online, but for the longest time, climate change, the action plan was the video, and the video is filled with misinformation, particularly about the best units. And I'm saying, how could this possibly go forward? We're just getting our hands on it now. It's the last minute, and it needs more review, and it should be delayed. And again, I have to put something out about say something about the Sustainability Committee. This committee is seriously compromised. First of all, one of the co-chairpersons is on the planning board, which I find that's inappropriate. Plus, a few of the members work in this industry. I mean, I have their business cards, which I would supply to you. So I think it's totally inappropriate that it's like the tail wagging the dog. So I think, again, I would slow the whole process down, and we need more than one public hearing on it, and have it approved that night is totally wrong. The second thing about term limits, I agree with Margaret wholeheartedly. I think term limits should be extended to the trustees. We had some of those characters around for a really long time, and it's too long, actually, as far as I'm concerned. And I have to make a comment about the election. Ms. Moore's last communication, which I got one every day, was that she wanted to unite the town of Southampton. And I was looking forward to her coming into office as a new beginning, and that hopefully she could work with us in Hampton Bays. But the revelation of that individual who has business in front of the board had formed a pact and put $128,000 of money into the campaign really has clouded that. I'm astounded by that. At the very least, it's a conflict of interest, and it benefited all of it. And as you said, you have a supermajority, but at what cost to the community? I mean, is this the best? In the end, is this the best government money could buy? This is really outrageous. It should be investigated, really. And to add to that, Ms. Moore denied knowing anything about it, but she did not denounce it or disavow it, and neither did anybody else on the board. And it was filled with inaccuracies and misstatements, and it really slandered Ms. McNamara, really. So I'm really concerned about this. A lot of money, and again, is this what the government's going to be here, controlled by billionaires and millionaires? Really, you should really reflect on that, all of you. And the other thing I want to say about the election is I want to give a shout out to Joe McLaughlin. He's an exceptional young man. I'm glad he won. I think he's going to serve the community very well. And I look forward to great things for him in the future. And I hope someday that I can be here talking and he'll be here in front of me. I hope I'm still around. So really, I think he's really an inspiration for all of us, and I expect great things from him. And the other thing I think I mentioned about the term limits, if we do go with the term limits, it has to be a referendum. You guys can't vote for something that's going to apply to you without bringing it to the people, and that's what's needed. This government's for the people, and it's just Jeffersonian democracy. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so those are all the cards I have. We'll go online. If you wish to be heard in public portion on any matter, and you're watching from a remote location, you can
There are no participants.
click the raise hand icon. Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who wanted to be heard who did not speak?
Steve Crispinelli, Hampton Bays. Just wanted to point back to that March debacle. It was a 1990s PowerPoint presentation that was made by experts that you were able to find to do something that's going to affect us in 2040. The surveys that were done, again, 60,000 to 70,000 people live in Southampton, and many of them vote, and only 400 respondents. That's amateur bill. Who designed the survey? One of the questions was, where would you think you should put best? And one of the answers suggested was parking lots of beaches. Can you imagine putting a best installation in a parking lot of a beach? That's a survey question. That is the part of the judgment you are going to make. You are going to really look at that. 38% of the respondents, 450 respondents, 375 respondents, said put the best installation at a beachfront. That's the best place to put it. That's what they were recommending. You're going to judge what you should do on a survey that was done, 400 people, with experts from outside the state, as far west as the Rocky Mountains. They were telling you the best things to do. They were very nice and pleasant in giving their impressions of what should be done in a PowerPoint presentation. A PowerPoint presentation that dates from the 1990s or the early 2000s. It's not up to date at all. Some PERT charts. It's ridiculous. If you're going to make a judgment on something as important as this, on the basis of what they did 10 months ago, and decide that without public discussion and really doing a lot of work on it, you should be ashamed of yourselves. And if you're going to force it through before you leave office, double shame on yourselves. I have to believe, you want to be a cynic, that you have jobs lined up in the green industry. And in the green industry, you're going to make a lot of money and make a name for yourself. And it's wrong. This thing is going to affect us for decades, and you're doing it on the fly and on the cheap. It can't be done that way. I wrote a satirical article for the group that we represent, talking about what they're going to recommend is everybody's got to get an electric car.
30
At some
seconds.
point, you got to get an electric car. And if you don't get it, well, you can't live here. And that's the kind of thing that we feel that you're doing. React to the people. Don't think you're right all the time or not ever wrong. If you get another influence from somebody, from some group, listen to the group. Pay attention to the group. And a compromise is not 75% of what you think and 25% of what we think. Compromise is different than that. Listening is different than that. People do have opinions, and they are just as smart, or maybe not as smart, but they can become just as informed as you. So please, pay attention, help. Don't dictate, help. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anyone else in the audience who want to be heard in public portion but didn't fill out a card? All right, I'll make a motion to close public portion.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public portion is closed, so we'll go to the agenda, and I know there's people waiting for certain things. So, let's maybe take some things out of order. I know there's a number of people who here on the Adam Grossman judge appointment, so why don't we do that first? Anybody know what page that is?
Not yet.
Yes, 93.
93.
You have resignation
1346.
that would come first. and-
Yeah, probably the resignation. Well, which one do you want to do first?
That's on
On the left
Right, I agree.
That's the last
All right,
one.
Jim, do we have to do the resignation before we
I
do
would
the
actually
appoint-
suggest the other way around. Just to
The other
make
way
sure.
around?
Right.
Right. So it'd be appointed,
Just to
then we'd
Right.
accept the resignation.
verify that he's going to be appointed before. Yeah.
And then we can swear him in. Okay?
Yes.
All right, so I would like to make a motion to take resolution 1346 of 2023, appointing Adam Grossman, Southampton Town Justice Court, out of order. Do I have a second?
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 1346 of 2023, appointing Adam Grossman, Southampton Town Justice.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. On the motion, we have a vacancy when Judge Wilson left the bench, so the appointment is available until the next general election, which would be, well, I guess it's to the end of the year, but will be decided if Mr. Grossman chooses to run for the office for a longer period. Am I saying that right, Kathleen? All right, I just wanted to make sure. So I've known Adam quite a long time. Adam has served as chairman of the Southampton Town Zoning Board for a number of years now. He's done a fantastic job over there. He's a lawyer, and I know will be an extremely fair and good judge. Will review cases carefully and represent the town very well. And I'm very pleased to be able to put forward Adam's name to be our next town justice. And I know, I see we have a former justice in the room. Judge Cooperstein is here. Whatever, Judge Coop. So, anyone else on the motion?
Sure, I've known Adam quite a long time, and you cannot find a more ethical person than Adam Grossman. Not only is he ethical, he's honest, he's intelligent, he's committed. I went to school with him. I also served on the Zoning Board of Appeals with him, and Adam was made chair at that time. So I fully support Adam's appointment to town justice, and I know he will serve the people well.
Anyone else?
Well, watching Mr. Grossman chair of the ZBA over a long period of time, I can only say if you watch that, you understand what an absolute wonderful justice he would make. And I just want to thank you for your personal service. You've done an awful lot for the town over the years, and you're a good man, and I know you will act in a good way as justice, as a future justice. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, so this is no offense to Mr. Grossman, Adam, you're very pleasant, we've spoken a few times. I don't know you nearly as well. One of my main goals here on the town board is that when we hire somebody or appoint somebody, that they are the best person for the job. I don't know what, you very well could be, but we haven't seen a pool of suggestions, so I'm voting against this tonight.
I don't think my vote will come as a shock because, obviously in your letter of resignation, you thanked Councilman Bouvier and Councilman Scavone and Supervisor Schneiderman for appointing you to be a town justice. I personally believe in the will of the people, and I believe that this appointment, due to the fact that the voters twice voted not to appoint you justice, goes against the will of the people. We may not all like the outcome of elections, I certainly don't, but I feel like we owe it to the people to, as Rick said, at least go through a pool of people and make a choice based on who we feel is the best appointment for the entire township, and I don't feel like we did that in this case, so I can't support it.
Okay, thank you. And we all got our seats here on this board through that that process of open and fair elections. And it sounds like this decision will be reflective of the majority of the board, so, and that's okay. But that is the way the law is, that the town board, in the case of a vacancy of a judge, gets to decide who fills that. That's our job, not to leave it empty for a year. And Adam Grossman is highly qualified and will be a phenomenal judge. And should he decide to stay beyond the year, that'll be up to the voters. And Mr. Grossman, if he wishes to seek a full term. So with that, I will call the vote. We had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay, both Councilman Martell and Councilwoman McNamara in opposition. And 3 votes is all it takes, so congratulations.
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 So, next, I'd like to take the resolution accepting your resignation. Before we can swear you in as town justice, we have to accept your resignation from the zoning board. So I'll make a motion to take resolution 44844 out of order. Seconded by?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay, I will make a motion to, approve 44844, accepting the resignation of Adam Grossman from the zoning board of appeals.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have the letter already, so thank you for your service on the zoning board, and we look forward to your service in this new capacity, your honor, and we're gonna swear you in.
Come on up. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Adam Grossman,
I, Adam Grossman,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Southampton Town Code,
and the Southampton Town Code,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of Southampton Town Justice
of Southampton Town Justice
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Judge.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations, Judge.
Thank you.
I see you're joined by your father and your mother,
I am.
Just need you to sign your oath.
Absolutely.
Paul and
The
Janet.
real deal.
I actually knew Adam when he was a town of Riverhead town attorney. That was a number of years back.
A little while.
Yeah.
I remember that as well, so highly qualified individual.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, is there anybody waiting on any other resolutions in particular? If not, we'll just go through them in order.
I think they're all waiting on the climate action plan.
Setting the hearing of the action plan. Are you guys all waiting on the climate action plan hearing resolution? Okay, so which resolution is that?
108?
Page 108?
It's at the end.
All right, I'll make a motion, this is John, this is your resolution, but I'll make a motion to take,
Hold on. Not here yet. Where? Okay, I get it.
just on page 108, resolution 1357 of 2023. Make a motion to take that out of order, seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so John, do you want to?
So, yeah, on the motion.
We did a motion to
I'm
approve.
sorry.
No.
That's just to take it out of order.
Oh,
So
I'm
you'll
sorry.
make the motion to
I'll
approve?
make the motion to approve.
This is a notice of public hearing to adopt the climate action plan as an element of the town comprehensive plan. There's a motion to approve by Councilman Bouvier, seconded by Councilman Scavone.
Second?
Okay, all right, so on the motion, Councilman Bouvier.
There's some confusion here, and I've asked Janice Shearer, but maybe we can, if we pass for public hearing, maybe we can talk about this. But we've been working on this, land management certainly has for many, many years. It's gone through a whole series of iterations. There's been a lot of public dialogue and exchange and hearings and Zoom calls, and I want to make it clear that this is part of the idea of this is that it goes into the comprehensive plan, and maybe Janet, you can talk just a little bit about that to correct some of the things that were said before.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. So the climate action plan right now is being put up for public hearing. That is the public process. So what would you be commenting on if you didn't have a plan to talk about? So now we have a published draft plan. The plan shows section 1, climate priorities, strategies, actions, carbon reduction, cost, recommendations, and their time frame. So all those different components this is not a best plan. This is just about how, if we did business as usual, if you go to actually page 34 of the plan, they say, what's the forecast if we do nothing? Which is everyone is suggesting, let's go back to the, like, wait, or don't do anything about our climate crisis. What would happen? So page 34 talks about how much emissions we would need to be reduced. And actually, because New York State is electrifying the grid and all the activities that are going on through REV, renewing the renewable energy vision of the state of New York, they predict 34% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions from all the state activities that are going on. But that means there's still 517,000 metric tons of carbon locally that we would have to account for. How would we reduce this amount of carbon that we generate right now, residential being almost 50% of the use of that, 48% is residential emissions. And then we have, commercial emissions, waste emissions, transportation emissions. And we look at all those sectors and say, how are we going to bring those emissions down? What would we do? And that's what this plan is all about. It's about how to reduce that forecast, and so that we reduce our carbon output by 2040. The goal is to reduce our output to zero. Can we get to zero? We would have to go through these strategies, vet them with the public. That's the whole point of the plan. Hear from the public. Oh, no, we can't do that because whatever the reasons why, we have to do this instead. Okay, let's forecast that out. So this is not the end. This is the beginning. We expect this to go way into next year. It's just that or you can vote on it, you can really read it and say this is, forecasting and strategizing. It's a plan. And that's what we're doing.
So I just want to add to that, just
Sure.
to clarify. To that end, we hired a company, Ramboll, to do an assessment of all the emissions within the town, to identify the low-hanging fruit, what can be done, what can't be done, what's cost prohibitive, all the things that are related to planning and all the things that are related to the ability to meet that goal. And that was important for us to have. Originally, we came to the board with the first climate action plan quite a while ago, and we talked about that. And that was one of the reasons we decided to go to Ramboll, to be able to help us identify those emission points, that there are something that a municipality can do something about. There are things in the world that we can't do anything about, and we have to know which we can do something about.
Right. Even if we did all the strategies they recommend, we still have a shortfall, actually. So if we did business as usual and all the state changes that really did result in a 34% reduction, we still had this 517,000 metric tons that we were trying to account for, and we implemented every strategy and it all went perfectly. We're still at a shortfall. And that would be carbon offsetting, or like, what are we talking about? So all this, it's not perfect, because some of it is just policies, priorities, strategizing. We don't,
That's a question that I have. The function of this document, this is not code.
No.
Right? This is not code. It's not we're not putting this necessarily on people. It is a plan, a guidance document from which future town boards, or whatever town board, can pass code and laws, and we look at it as a guidance document.
Yes.
But it in itself is not code.
It's not a code, and also, most importantly, it talks about our own facilities, municipal facilities, and how to make those more efficient and operate more efficiently. So we're not like putting all these new regulations on, like, say, the building industry, and not, looking at our own housekeeping first. The first thing is to look at our own municipal facilities and become a model for how to be more efficient, so that then later we can say, look, we could point to this and say, this works because we did it here.
And even to do that, we would have a series of public hearings,
Of
public
course,
notifications to put in the code.
And
Okay,
you would
so
have to
this
do
is-
some cost-benefit analysis to determine that, right, when you're going to do that.
Like the sustainability component, the 400 plus, there's lots of recommendations in there, lots of them. Some have been implemented, but Others have not. I'm sorry, Councilman McNamara?
If I may, with all due respect, Janice, I don't think anybody is saying that we should do nothing. I don't think that's what anybody is saying. I think what they're saying is this document that you very comfortably refer to page 34 landed on our desk yesterday.
Sure, but you have a month now before the hearing
Yeah,
to
but
talk,
I
to look
don't
at it,
wanna take
and we're
a doc-
having a. I'm
Can I
sorry to
finish
interrupt you.
speaking?
Sure, go right ahead.
So I'm not comfortable saying I'm gonna take this document and give it to the public to weigh in on, because I don't even know if I want it to be something that the public should see at this point in time or weigh in on. I don't know if it's something that I want to refer to the Suffolk County Planning Commission, because I haven't even reviewed it myself. And I feel like that's a shortcoming on our points. Like, I feel like we should have looked at a document before we say, you know what, we're okay with this document going out into the world. We're okay with this document going to the public for review. I can't say that right now because I got it yesterday.
Okay, so you could theoretically not have the hearing, we are planning to have the consultant come, although they'll be via Zoom because they're not local.
Fine.
And have a work session, and then put the hearing forward. It's just that the way our mechanics work, if we don't if we don't notice something a month ahead of time, we're a month out. So it's really just the way
I
it
think,
works in
honestly, I
terms of
believe it will
a
get
month.
there, but I think with the process the way it is, and with people being, not comfortable with the way we've done things in the past, I feel like putting this out there for a public hearing, before we have the work session, before we've had a chance to digest it and get it to the people, it's putting the cart before the horse. And I really think we went down that road and it didn't end well.
I hear you. I think even when you read it, you'll realize that it's mostly
And I would
benign. It's
like,
not
I would like
anything
to come to that
controversial.
conclusion on my own.
But to the point that Janice is making, that you're gonna have a period of time to read, it's not complicated. It's just a series of suggestions and things that are to put into the comprehensive plan that help us reach that goal eventually. And I appreciate that you don't have the time to do that, but the idea was that you'd have a month to do that, go through that process, ask the questions that you need to ask. That's what I do when I get a document I haven't seen. I look at it, I read it, I go to the departments, I talk to whoever I need to talk to, so that's the idea.
I just want to have that opportunity.
Well, and you do, because you're gonna have at least 30 days.
But we're voting today to
The
send it
hearing
out.
is not till the 12th,
12th
and then
of
you
December.
can read the document, and then we're having a work session with the consultant, so you can have informed questions for the consultant after you've read it, and then a hearing to hear how other people weigh in on it, and then this can go on as long as you feel it needs to.
And then from the public hearing, we could take suggestions, obviously from the public and our own suggestions, and either add it to the document or delete sections, or continue to
plan
work
is
on
a
the document
draft.
with the public input.
Can I ask,
Okay.
just technically, if we were to pass the notice on the 28th, because we have a town board meeting, could we still notice it for the 12th, or we'd have to pick a different date?
No, you'd have to notice it you can notice it now for the December 21st, but you couldn't notice it, if you notice it late in November, it's late in December. It's always a month later because of the paper, the way the newspaper works.
We don't need a month notice, we need, I think, 2 weeks.
You need
is
10
the
days,
14 days, but depends
published in
sometimes
the-
how things fall, the advertising.
Yeah, I
The
skipped.
way that
that's
it
why
works
it
with the
ends up
holidays
over,
and
yeah.
stuff, we look through the calendar, so that's why.
I just don't understand why the rush is if we're not even gonna be the ones ultimately voting on this, you know what I mean? If it's
We
gonna
may be.
carry over to the next board, well, then you're saying that we're gonna agree on everything and it's gonna be adopted, and that's kind of really putting the cart before the horse.
Well, the
Maybe.
town's been working on this for a long time.
Yeah, so
I said maybe, I mean, we
Over
could
6
vote on it, or
years.
we could not.
I mean, it mostly
But we
talks
could-
about where the emissions are coming from and strategies to reduce emissions. That's the idea.
It's an aspirational plan.
Yes, it's not a mandate, it's not
Right.
law, it's,
I looked at it, it doesn't require us to do anything, it suggests things.
It
to
has
look
like,
at.
like I can just, pick anything and say low carbon transportation. Do an alternative fuels analysis for our fleet to determine best replacement options, costs, and infrastructure requirements. That's a future, and if you chose to say, hey Janice, I want to do that analysis, then we would start turning the gears to get
Do you
that
know how many
analysis
times
done.
developers show up before this board and say, it's in your plan? I'm trying to do what's in your plan, and I wanna know what our plan says for them to do that they're gonna capitalize on.
This has
Okay.
nothing to do with
This is-
developers. This
this-
has everything to do with just reducing carbon emissions. So
Okay.
if you had a developer who wanted to build a building, we would be telling them it had to be insulated a certain way, solar, geothermal, that kind of stuff. That's what we're trying to get to, net zero type of development and sustainability within our buildings.
I have two
Yeah,
additional questions. One, is there anything in here, I looked through it, I didn't, that will affect the BESS moratorium?
No.
Okay, and that is completely under the purview of the town board, and would you kind of update us on what's happening on the county level with that?
Sure.
with BESS
Or the
kind
town
of-
level.
What, the town, and then with other towns too?
Absolutely. So the moratorium went into effect. The law was adopted at the end of September, and it was filed with the Secretary of State. So the clock starts ticking basically September. In that time, we reached out to Suffolk County Planning. They actually provide planning services also to municipalities to help. So we collaborated with them on like how like a work group would look with county, LIPA, PSEG, and other townships who are in the similar situation. Town of Huntington and Town of Riverhead have also agreed to be on this sort of municipal roundtable and involve Suffolk County. And then Andy Freeling, unfortunately, chief planner in Suffolk County, has now left Suffolk County, but we're still going to work with them. Lisa Broughton, who's their energy. I
So a
forget
lot
her
of the
title,
issues
but
that we
she's-
face are being faced by other towns, and it's going to be handled, at least in part, on the county level before.
Yeah, they're
it's
gonna
with
help us sort of, and then obviously you wanna have a
Uh-huh.
local group too. So to get to that point, we understand that, is that we've been trying to engage a consultant to take over this whole process and do the land planning studies with our community who wants to be involved. So that took a little bit of time because we really couldn't find the right consultant who wanted to do this work. We have since worked out with VHB, who is going to be giving us a proposal. I mean, we could put out an RFP, but it's like professional services, and I've called like everyone, and you know, so they have a lot of expertise, and they're not representing any private applications.
This is going to take some time. With
Yeah.
the county, and then what we want to do.
And then the state
we have a
report
change-
hasn't even come out yet.
Right,
not
that
even
hasn't come
close.
out, and we have a changeover in the county, and we're having a changeover here on this board as well. So, you know, for me, as one voting member who's still going to be on this board, I think that a 6-month moratorium is probably going to be extended. I mean,
I
that's
would
what it looks
probably
like
agree
now.
with
You know,
you.
I think everyone in the room probably, you know, agrees after that. So
Yes.
I wanted to, you know, make sure that the public hears that, knows that, and doesn't, you know, that we're not necessarily under a 6-month gun to, you know, get that done. And that is actually separate, in my view, than the climate action plan. That would be as a part of our comprehensive plan, goals to aspire to.
Yes, the
Okay.
battery energy storage is going to absolutely get a local group, you know, local stakeholder meetings. I asked the consultant to put a lot of that in their proposal, a lot of time with our constituents so that they can work out where the best locations are in the town.
And that's
And
an
a
aside
planning,
from the climate action plan.
That's not
what
part of
we're-
the climate
I know I
action
did
plan.
ask,
We know that like solar and wind
Uh-huh.
require some amount of batteries.
or
so
energy
that-
storage of some
Energy
sort,
storage of
right.
some form or fashion, but it's not like this climate action plan is some secret way to get all these batteries everywhere. Like,
Mhm.
it's just, that just isn't what's going on
It's got
here.
really nothing to do with it, that's the point.
It doesn't.
So the county has agreed to take a more regional approach on this, so we don't necessarily have to wait for the state to weigh in?
I think it's very important to wait for the state's report because that's the special task force, including all the fire safety and firematics situation and all the recommendations as far as setbacks and protocols. So we have to have that report.
Yeah, we wanna read their
But the
reports.
county is sort of helping kind of be the central force between all of us municipalities, so it's sort of, we all have a different circumstance. We have different stories, but we're all facing the same thing, where we don't residents don't want it anywhere near them, but we don't have enough industrial zones, but where the substations are over here. So we're facing the same issues, let's say, as many of other municipalities, Southold also. So we.
Nationwide thing, really. It's a
It
nation-
is, nationwide as well. So the consultant, so we'll have like sort of group forming with municipalities, us being one of them, and Suffolk County Planning Commission and LIPA and PSEG, together as like a, trying to vet out, like, what's the commonalities, what's the common threads here that we can look at, and then we have to locally with our consultant tailor our specific needs here. And our various hamlets have different needs and different, they're all different, and when you really look at them, they're not all the same, so.
Can I ask for maybe a compromise on this? Because I do want to hear from the public, and I do want the people to get this. I just went online today. Is it possible to remove the resolved where we send it to the Suffolk County Planning Commission and the Planning Board,
Sure.
but set the public hearing?
And you can, I don't know what that accomplishes, but if that,
It allows you to get feedback
Then
from the public.
county would have it on their agenda for
Right,
December.
for
If you
December.
don't send it to them, then they won't have it on their agenda until January.
I'm
It's
just asking for time for us to review it and the public to weigh in before we send it.
I'm fine with that, if, as long as that doesn't affect the timeline, because I'm.
It does. It prevents this board from voting on the plan.
Yeah.
It then boots it to the next
It,
voter.
you know,
So,
it's not bad to get other people's recommendations. What's wrong with getting the county's input? Even
mean,
if,
I
even if
kinda
you
like the
scrap the
county's
plan,
input.
they.
Because the whole basis for what we're doing right now is to have this voted on and put in place by the end of the year. And I don't feel like we're working towards any other outcome but that with the way that we're setting this in place. And if it's a good plan and it stands on its own, the next board will want to pass it and will want to implement it. So I don't know why there is
Well, it's just
this
Councilman
rush.
Bouvier has worked for years on this, and I think, he deserves an opportunity to be able to vote on a plan that he's been instrumental in developing, so. It's up to you. If you do what Councilwoman McNamara is suggesting, you will not be able to vote on the plan.
Well, I'd like to compromise, but I don't in this case, and for a more important reason, is that I really would like to hear what the Suffolk County says and their opinion of this, because I think that's critical to the public hearing process. It's like presenting something with a missing page, so I feel uncomfortable with that. So,
But will we have their feedback before the public hearing?
yeah, we should.
Okay.
Well,
They
it
can,
will-
I don't know.
they
I
can
can't-
take,
I can't promise it.
they
we
can
might
take
not-
at
we
least
might not
45
close
days
the
on
public
things.
hearing on the 12th.
Might have to leave it open.
You can leave it open,
And leave it open.
but this will get you on their agenda if you do it, that's why we always include it in the referrals, to get it on their agenda.
Right.
Uh,
But this is not there's no code change in this. This is just an aspirational document of,
And
how to
it's
respond to climate change and global warming. And yeah, there is a clock ticking, this was the hottest summer on record. If we are not able to collectively, as not just a town or a county or a state, or even a nation, but across the planet, respond to climate change, we're all in serious trouble.
You're not going to make this about not caring about climate change. This is about voting on a document and voting to send out a document that I have not had the opportunity to read.
Well, you're going to have plenty of opportunity to read it. You're looking at it right now. It's not terribly complicated. It doesn't take a terribly long amount of time to read and understand. It's not a mandate, it's not law, it is recommendations going forward. And it's centered around the town building and structure and infrastructure itself. We want to change and make a model of that change before it even gets out anyplace else or is considered for other use.
In some ways, it's things we're already doing. We did it
We
here
are.
at Town
We're-
Hall.
Like I said, you've
But you're
already
looking
made
at
up
it
your
there.
mind, so
That's-
it's,
this
we
is
may as
all
well
part
vote
of
and move on.
Climate change.
All right, so let's have the vote. So we had a motion and a second to set a public hearing on the plan for December 12th, 2023 at 1
If I could, real
p.m.
quick, though. John, I do have a bunch of questions on this. I
Sure.
agree that when you read through it, because I read it 3 times last night, that it does make sense. But there are a lot of questions. We didn't have the best information. We didn't have, wind farms are not renewing their contracts, or not taking up their contracts. It takes so long to get something done. What's the significance of 2040? Why isn't it 2050? Why aren't we taking baby steps along the way?
Well, it's a goal, because we're going through these small learning curves, just like BEST, just like other things. You go through those learning curves as you get to that point. So the idea was that we set a model, we do the example here with Town Hall, but you also have to keep up with technology changes. So you need to have a flexible enough base to form policy from. And that's what this represents, and that's all. It's a reference document for creating law.
I'll say this on the goal, in 2016, this town board adopted a goal by 2025 of 100% electrical
That's what I mean.
from non-fossil fuels, from renewables. Okay, we're almost at 2025. We're not gonna get to 100%, but
Well, with
it-
CCA, we're gonna get close, and,
So-
your reach exceeds your grasp, that drives you
So,
forward.
yes, so you set the goal as with the hope of hitting it, understanding that it's a motivating factor, but you may not be able to get there.
So if we make
But-
changes based on input from the public hearing, do we have to send it back to the planning commission?
Yeah, you would do
Depends on the changes. Sometimes they ask for it back and sometimes they say it's a matter of, when it's comp plan documents like this, it's usually local determination. But sometimes they call them up, but I don't imagine them doing that, really. I mean, but if they have changes, we have the consultant who can make the changes, whatever you want it to say.
Rick, you had an opportunity to review it, I had an opportunity to review it.
So did I.
And I walked some of my suggestions when we originally started are in here, so, I'm pretty familiar with it, but, I really want to hear from the public.
Yeah, and that's the whole,
idea
that's
is
the
to get it to the
process.
public.
If we didn't have something to look at, then we wouldn't
You wouldn't have a
be able to
public
talk
hearing.
intelligently on it.
All right, so I will call the vote on resolution 1557-23. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I can in good faith forward a document I haven't read, so I'm gonna,
Are you abstaining or?
no, I'm voting no.
Okay, one no, and Rick, you're a yes. Okay, so it's 4-1, and the resolution is approved. All right, so now is there anything else we need to take out of order?
Riverside, sorry, I just realized if you leave me here,
Oh, for the sewage district?
All right,
Yeah, can we take that out of?
Any idea where that is, Jim?
is that 107, the authorized preparation of a map plan and report?
No, it's a walk-on.
It's a walk-on, right?
Oh, that's right, right.
There's RFQ, not that one.
This is not public.
Those two responders, no, Dean.
Because that one I'm talking about is for the Riverside
This one, number 2,
Sewer District.
on the walk-on is,
Dean supplement, environmental impact statement. Article.
oh, this was,
Scheduling hearing.
Janice, this was respondents to the municipal sewer engineering services.
Sorry, this- you can call my office afterwards. Okay.
Or email to anyone's office.
You may be able to just stop by, if there should be somebody there now, you might be able to answer, Frank may be able to answer your questions.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Riverside Sewer Engineering was on the walk.
Yeah, which is, I thought this was the one.
1339.
There's 1356,
Page 85.
deemed supplemental draft generic environmental impact statement adequate for public review, that's the one? And what about the authorization of a preparation of
Also
a
mine,
map
yeah,
plan? And then, so there's really 3 resolutions
Three
here.
different ones related. There's 3 resolutions related to Riverside. One is the supplemental draft environmental impact statement and schedule a public hearing. The other one is the authorization to produce a map plan and report, which will be the subject of a different public hearing in January. We'll set that hearing in the new year. And,
One is
and one is the RFQ that EFC requires us to do a request for qualifications process in order to retain the engineer that's going to do it to 100% design.
All right,
So what is number 2, the 2023 notice of respondents for
That's
professional
the-
municipals.
That's the Environmental Facilities Corporation, who
Right.
were, you
Yeah,
know, that
that's-
they
I mean, that's big
require
grant
us to
money.
do this. Yes.
Okay, so
Okay.
this is, and I think they're in the proper order in the package, so what I'll do is, let me make a motion
They are.
to take three resolutions out of order. Resolution 1339 of 23 found on page 85, which will be followed by 1356 of 23 on page 107, and 44819 in the walk-on packet.
Second?
All right, I'll make a motion to take those three out of order.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Spiavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we're gonna take them in that exact order. So I'm gonna start with 1339 of 2023 to deem supplemental draft generic environmental impact statement adequate for public review for purposes of secret and schedule a public hearing for the siting and construction of a community sewage treatment plant and associated collection and conveyance system in the hamlet of Riverside.
Second.
Second by Councilman Scavone. So, this would be setting a hearing for December 12th at 1 PM on the supplemental draft generic environmental impact statement for the Riverside Sewer District. All right, is there anything else you want to say about that, Janice? before
No,
we vote?
no, it's just, it's here. We're doing, you know,
Yay.
it's happening.
That's another thing with
Again, this is something that's been
many
worked on
years.
for many, many years.
Many
We've been
years.
putting pieces together, acquiring lands,
Acquiring land, acquiring
properties,
money.
doing analysis. This is actually going on. I can't tell you when it started, because when I was at the county, this was being worked on.
I think it started, I want to say
I've been here for
2013.
Yeah,
8 years.
I think it is. 2013 is the
It's
first.
at least 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
So-
began allocating monies.
And
toward
They
it.
don't call it long-range planning for
And
nothing.
I know you've been highly successful in winning, I guess, or getting us
Obtaining
grants
grants.
to keep this from being a burden on the taxpayers.
That's right.
You deserve a lot of credit.
And,
Thank
and
you.
healthy grants, I might add.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a really interesting project because there's so much environmental, like, sustainability side to it, like preservation and revitalization and new building to, you know, kind of balance out and revitalize this area that's in desperate need. So I think it's going to be an amazing,
Yeah, I do
Plan.
too.
While
And
helping-
Really good for the community.
While helping mitigating nitrogen for the Peconic estuary.
that's right.
Right, yeah.
That's
In
the
the
major
process,
goal.
right.
Can I actually get added to these?
Just that alone
Yeah,
is
this
worth
is
the
true. This
project,
is
but that's the
ultimately
20,
will be
like I say, the 20
transformative
part
for
of
the
it.
Riverside area, and will allow it to actually develop according to zoning that was put in place, not by me, it's actually the board before, when the RAP plan was adopted. So you were here,
I was here.
and Kyle Collins was here, but, you know, I remember the community gave a standing ovation when that was adopted. So they really have been looking forward to that injection of vitality, economic investment into that Riverside community. So this is a critical step.
Yes.
Was there another question?
Oh, I wanted to be added to
Oh,
these.
okay, Councilwoman.
I'm sorry, which one would you like to be added to?
All of them.
The
All
three that we're
yes.
taking out of order? Got.
I think
You
I'm
already are
on
on
the
the
other
third
one.
one.
Well,
So-
You
whichever
added
ones I'm
yourself
not.
the first
So
one?
the,
I don't.
this, yeah, the
This is
first
the
and second.
Well, we had,
We're all
yeah,
there.
It's all
because the
separate.
full town board is on 44819, so
We're not
you
on
just
this
want to
one.
do the full town board on
All of
everything,
them.
but it's all
Is that okay?
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right,
Is
so
that
we'll have the
fine?
full town board on all of them.
Because this
Excellent
board,
decision.
yeah, this board worked hard together to accomplish this, so.
You
I
really
think
did.
that
it's a
seems-
credit to you all. Thank
Yeah.
you for all your support.
All right, so I'm gonna call the vote on 1339, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it's unanimous, and that is approved. We'll now move on to 1356 of 2023, now co-sponsored with the full town board. It authorizes the preparation of a map plan and report attendant to the establishment of a sewer district in the hamlet of Riverside pursuant to New York State Town Law, Article 12A.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. Any discussion?
Also, this is a subject to another work session. We will be back with more information for you at a work session with Kathleen and Len.
So yeah, can I just ask, because at one point we weren't doing a sewer district, now we.
Yeah, we were gonna do a capital improvement district, but due
now
to
we're-
the
since we have it
grant
fully
funding,
funded,
we'll be able to do this,
do
just
it
the
as a sewer
plain
district.
old vanilla sewer district, the regular
And,
one.
and how are we impacted when the legislature finally
Run of the mill.
decides?
Sorry. Wrong color.
Was that?
I was just wondering how this impacts us when the legislature finally passes the sewage district law that's been tabled.
Then that will make life so much easier.
That
if
goes
ever-
back to Albany. It's
Yeah.
gonna be
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while. But here we'll have a special district form.
Well, even our local
And that is the
legislature.
authorization to the financial plan that has to be then approved by the state comptroller. So that's the resolution that precedes the state comptroller's review.
All right, any discussion? All right, hearing none, there's a motion to approve and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that was unanimous as well, and we'll move on to, docket ID 44819, also co-sponsored by the full board, 2023 notice to respondents for professional municipal sewer engineering services for the Riverside Sewer Project.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
All right, and I know, I just want to say this too, with some of the grant money we've been awarded, it does require us to move fairly quickly. So, time is sort of the essence because there's like a window of time where if you don't break ground, you lose the money.
Yes.
So, right?
It's
I think some of the
incredibly
ARPA
fast.
money-
Yep, so we have to really be able to engage someone that can hit the ground running.
Yep.
All right, so,
Do it.
I'll call, is there any discussion? All right, I'll call the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank
Any
you.
opposed? Okay, that is approved too.
Great, thanks.
Okay, drive carefully.
Thank you,
Home.
Janice.
Drive through
Go home, or maybe not, till
Riverside.
3 o'clock.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Okay, so now we go
Did-
all the way back. There's nothing else we need to take
We
out of
walked
order?
these on, right? Yes, we did. Okay.
All right, so, I'm down as the lead sponsor on the tabled resolution 1237, 2023.
Where's that?
That's the first item. I would like to actually not be a sponsor on this resolution, because I think that there's a lot of confusion. What is the current, there is no fee currently for the work done without a permit, though, at least it's not in the highway fee schedule. So there was testimony that they've been charging $1,000, and so going to 3,000 would be a tripling of the fee. But I can't find the authorization for the 1,000. And I also checked with East Hampton, because there was some testimony that East Hampton charges 3,000. And the highway superintendent there told me that, no, they, if you are doing the work, they will issue a stop work order, and you will have to pay the permit fee that you were supposed to have paid. And if the work is already completed, again, it's, you have to pay the fee, so there isn't that $3,000 penalty. I sort of agree there should be a penalty for doing the work without a permit. And maybe 1,000 is the right fee, but 3,000 seems awfully high to me. Some of the other fees that are doubling, maybe that's appropriate, I don't know, but I didn't want to be the lead sponsor because of that $3,000 penalty. I'd like to take my name off of it. Because what happens, somebody put a mailbox in the town right away, or plant trees, I don't know
He made
what.
it clear, though, that this was about utility work, not about plantings or.
Well, it's any work.
But you don't need if you don't need a permit to do that
done
work,
for
then you
town-owned
can't
roads
be.
And in right-of-ways.
It seems like it needs a little more. And I made this clear, at the work session about work done and a definition for work done as built, which I can understand in my head, I get it, but I need a little bit more on, like, with work done, what does that mean? And so I asked, I got the response that I got, so for me, that one's not
So if
complete.
somebody puts up a fence in a town-owned right-of-way, they might think that it's their property. Could be a split rail fence, whatever, they probably needed a permit. but should they get a $3,000 fine? I don't think so. But really, I think we just need more clarity on, yes, if somebody does major work, I guess opens up a driveway that they didn't have permission to open up, there should be a penalty. I think $1,000 penalty is a pretty steep penalty for something like that.
Who makes that determination? Is it the highway department, or is that code?
Well,
So do we?
Charlie mentioned Ryan, but I think there seems to be more work that needs to be done on this.
Yeah.
That's it,
Yeah,
you know. I mean,
you could try to clarify that.
To take something from 0 to 3,000 and just call it work done, it's a little broad in my
So,
opinion.
and, you know,
It's
like,
broad
I
in
would,
my
I would
opinion.
support a tabling of this while we sort it out, but for now, I'd like to take my name off as the lead sponsor, which would make you, Rick, the lead sponsor. And, you know, I would support tabling if you want to vote on it.
Yeah, I want to bring it through, we'll vote on it. If it does not pass, we'll bring it back to highway.
Okay. All right, so.
So town board
Kim, would you-
resolution.
Would you note
Do you
that?
want to table till the next meeting?
Yeah, I would suggest table it.
Till the next meeting.
Or you want to change the order?
I would table it till
I
the
want
next
to take my
meeting.
name off this
It's
resolution.
just informational, right?
I know,
If you
but we got
table it.
clarification from him before, so what else are we going to get?
I think Councilman Scivone had a specific question, and it bears asking the question. And, you know, if he can answer that question, or we can maybe clarify the language so that it states exactly what it is and it's clearer in the resolution, then
Yeah.
I would just say table
Yeah.
until the next.
If it's
meeting.
utilities, we should add a piece of code saying utilities open.
That gives
work-
us 2 weeks to, you know,
If
get the
it's a
proper
driveway
wording and make
apron,
everybody comfortable with it.
if it's for EMS response, for the size of a driveway, you know, there's.
And the responsible party, because it could be a homeowner, it could be a contractor.
Or is it a
could
commercial
be
or residential?
Commercial or residential, exactly.
It did seem like he was talking about, I think it was utilities. I think that
That's
was
why
the
I think
focus
we can
of it.
clarify the language and
Yeah.
make it,
Yeah.
you know.
It says for work done on town-owned roads and in right-of-ways. It doesn't say what kind of
It
roads.
says i.e. gas, water, electric.
That's
cable.
for major
That's what I think. I
project.
think we can
That's
clarify that
resi-
language
it's
and make it
residential
clear
major
who it is
projects.
and what it
It
is.
says
On
residential.
this column, there's no distinction.
Yeah.
That
between the
major
two.
project is a different,
Well, but there's no distinction in this column.
Oh, yeah.
There are distinctions in
I
others.
just think it
but
needs to be
not here.
cleaned up.
Yeah, I
The
think it
format
needs
of it was
clarification.
terrible, too.
I would,
Yeah.
I would
All right,
support
so
tabling.
we'll table it till the next meeting.
yeah, and this could also be done even next year. It's not, the budget doesn't rely on this revenue, so it would be additional revenue. It's not currently budgeted, so.
There should be some language there for town unimproved roads as opposed to town improved roads, right? I think in our mind's eye, we think of a road that's paved with, that's pretty much done. We have plenty of town-owned roads that are not paved, and people.
It's not clear.
People take it on themselves and put some pavement out because in the wintertime or whatever. I'm kind of just, you know,
I
surmising.
think his
here.
main focus
And
was
so I-
people digging up a road,
Right, and cutting
utilities digging
open
up
a road. I'd like to
Right.
see that articulated.
Right.
Maybe that could be clear.
Yeah.
I think that's what his focus was, but we'll get that clear.
All right, so Rick is.
And that they shouldn't do.
So
Sure,
my
absolutely.
name's off the resolution,
We'll
and
table it.
Are you still on there, Rick?
Rick is still
Yes,
on it,
he
yes. So
Okay, just checking.
It's Rick's resolution now, and
We'll table it for
Rick
clarification.
is making a motion to table.
Until to what meeting? The next
The
one?
next meeting.
Okay.
I'll second.
Sometime in 25.
January 2nd.
All right, so I'll second the motion to table, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Town Board Resolution 1265 of 2023, authorized purchase of Vermeer stump cutter from Vermeer North Atlantic Sales and Service.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Scivone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1266 of 23, authorized purchase of brakes and related components, parts, and labor to repair from Suffolk County Brake Service Inc. using Brookhaven Town contract.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1267 of 2023, authorized purchases of groundskeeping repair parts, service, and accessories from Malvisi using Suffolk County contract.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 2023-1268, authorize the supervisor to sign a contract extension for portable toilet rentals with Call Ahead. I can't get a kick out of that name.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I resisted making another pun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard, I had to.
I sensed one coming, but.
Yes. 1269 of 23, co-sponsored by Councilman Scavone and Martell, authorize supervisor to sign a contract extension for printing of tickets, pads, and envelopes with concept print.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1270 of 23, this authorized supervisor to sign a contract extension for property cleanup to bring properties back into compliance with Rockmore Contracting Corporation.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1271 of 23, co-sponsored by Councilman Scavone, authorized supervisor to sign a contract extension for dry cleaning and laundry services to Hampton Bays.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1272 of 2023, authorize the supervisor to execute a renewal agreement with Nearmap US Incorporated.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1273 of 23, authorized supervisor to execute a 2023 contract with Mayday Communications, Inc. for the digital voice recording system utilized in the 911 dispatch center of the police department.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1274 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, is to authorize the supervisor to sign a contract extension for acceptance of Town of Southampton North Sea landfill leachate wastewater with Clear Flow Technologies Incorporated.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Town Board Resolution 1275 of 2023, authorize supervisor to sign a contract extension for cold patch pavement repair material with Black Gold Industries Incorporated.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1276 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, authorize supervisor to sign a contract extension for maintenance, installation, repair of water mains with Roadwork Construction Corp.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved.
Town Board Resolution 1277 of 2023, authorize supervisor to sign a contract extension for pavement repair with Rosemar Contracting Incorporated.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1278 of 2023, authorize supervisor to sign a contract extension for traffic line striping and traffic markings with Seneca Pavement.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1279 of 2023, authorize supervisor to sign a contract with Pavement Services, Inc. for engineering service to be provided to the Highway Department.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Town Board Resolution 1280 of 2023, authorize supervisor to sign a contract extension for full depth reclamation with Rosemar Contracting Incorporated.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1281 of 2023, authorize supervisor to sign contract extension for repair and install sidewalks with Long Island Mason and Concrete.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved.
Town Board Resolution 1282 of 2023 is to authorize the supervisor to sign a contract extension with Coastal Commercial Property Management Incorporated for landscaping services.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Town Board Resolution 1283 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, authorize supervisor to sign a contract extension for street sweeper parts and gutter and rear brooms with Malvisi Equipment Company and Trias Incorporated.
I wouldn't want you to forget me on this one.
Sorry.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved.
Town Board Resolution 1284 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilman Scavone, is to authorize the supervisor to sign the 2024 Community Development Block Grant Project Description Forms.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. Very nice grants there.
Yeah.
Town Board Resolution 1285 of 2023, authorize the 2024 renewal with ESRI Incorporated for software licensing utilized in the GIS division.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1286 of 23, authorize the supervisor to sign 2024 village agreement, the village of Quogue for home improvement inspection services.
Second.
Probably should say with the village of Quogue, but, seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1287 of 23, co-sponsored by Councilman Schiavone, authorize the supervisor to execute 2024 cooperative agreements with neighboring villages for the town to provide fire inspection services.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1288 of 23, authorize the supervisor to execute a 2024 contract extension with Meraki Smith LLP for the preparation of an annual financial audit for year ending December 31st, 2023.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1289 of 23, authorize the supervisor to execute a contract extension with Quad Sinclair for supply number 2 fuel oil service and repair.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1290 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, authorize the supervisor to execute a memorandum of agreement with the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation and the Hampton Bays Water District.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1291 of 23, authorize supervisor to execute a retainer agreement with Peter D. Johnson Esquire to provide tax certiorari legal proceedings for and on behalf of the tax assessor's office.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scrivoni, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1292 of 2023, authorize the supervisor to sign a contract extension for liquid caustic soda with Univar USA Incorporated.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1293 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilman Martell, authorize the supervisor to sign a contract extension for printing and mailing of Hampton Bays Water District bills with Questmark Information Management Incorporated.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. 1294 of 23, co-sponsored with Councilman Schiavone, authorize the supervisor to sign a contract extension for replacement parts for Chevrolet General Motors with Eagle Chevrolet, Inc.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved. 1295 of 23, authorize the supervisor to sign a lease agreement for 38 Little Plains Road parking lot and garage bay.
Second.
Let's see, went up a little bit. It's
A
still
little
up
bit,
there
yep.
every year, a little bit. By $200 a month.
We're happy to have it.
You know, it
We're lucky
works
to
out
have it.
well for us. So it's now 25,800 a year for that parking. All right, so it was seconded by Councilman Schiavone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1296 of 2023 to authorize the supervisor to sign a master services agreement with Forerunner Technologies.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1297 of 23, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, authorize the supervisor to sign an amended emergency services ESU agreement for the police department to include the village of Southampton.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved.
Town Board Resolution 1298 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, Councilman Bouvier, and Councilman Schiavone. Authorize the supervisor to sign an extended contract for Alewife Creek Habitat Enhancement Project with Terry Contracting and Materials Incorporated.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. This Sunday, I guess, had me on too. It's got everybody else. I'm feeling left out.
You get to
I-
sign the
I
contract.
do
Yeah.
support these projects, so.
Honestly, John should have read that one, I think.
Yeah. So,
Hey, it gets it done. That's what's important.
all right, so we had a motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Oh, here, same issue. No, this is the whole board. Town Board Resolution 1299 of 2023, authorize the supervisor to sign an extended agreement for awards of Community Preservation Fund, 20% CPF, 20% Water Quality Improvement Project funds for the Village of Sacramento.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved.
Town Board Resolution 1300 of 2023, authorize the supervisor to sign a contract extension for public bathroom cleaning with Winston George, DBA Winton Cleaning. I gotta talk to contracts, I don't know what's going on.
Why aren't you all co-sponsoring this one?
Second.
Seconded by
Come on, have a
Councilwoman
flush.
McNamara.
Oh, sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
You want those bathrooms clean.
Yeah.
All right,
definitely.
1301 of 2023, authorize the town controller to purchase the necessary workers' compensation insurance from New York State Municipal Workers' Compensation Alliance.
Second.
Second by Councilman Sciboni, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1302 of 2023, award and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract for V-Box Sand and Salt Spreader with Suffolk County Brake Service Incorporated.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1303 of 2023, to award and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Otis Ford for Ford Police Interceptor Utility.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1304 of 23, declare item surplus and authorize disposal of computer equipment.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. I guess it's a MacBook Pro 16-inch. It's no longer needed for town use.
It's no longer, well.
I don't know if it's optionable.
It's pretty old tech.
It's an old MacBook.
It's
Yeah.
probably in disrepair. So.
Yeah.
All right, so we have motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1305 of 2023, declare item surplus and authorize disposal of vehicles.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scivone. There's a bunch of vehicles there.
No Crown Victorias.
All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. 1306 of 2023, recall and amend resolution 2023-1024, authorizing the supervisor to execute an agreement with Lexipol for online subscriptions for law enforcement policy manual online.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scivone. Just looking with the changes. Oh, just the source of funding was incorrect.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
it's a subscription.
Town Board Resolution 1307 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilman Martell, recall and amend Resolution 2023-1156, authorize the supervisor to execute an agreement with Long Island Telecommunications and Electronic Services, Inc. for portable radios at the Hampton Bays Water District.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell, all in favor?
Aye.
I approve. 1308 of 2023, recall and amend resolution 2023-1084, authorizing the supervisor to sign an amended contract with Lewis K. McLean Associates Engineers and Surveyors PC for sanitary system removal and replacement design services.
Second. That's your co-sponsor.
Yeah, oh, yes.
This is starting a theme here.
Co-sponsored by Councilman Bouvier.
It's a
It's
waste
not
kind
call
of day.
Wait.
Yeah, this is sanitary system removal and replacement.
Yep.
Where is this, at Hot Dog Beach, or,
Mhm.
Yes.
let me just look, it doesn't say, oh, this is for Town Hall. Design service, the one out here,
No.
this is for the one in Town
Oh,
Hall.
yes, no, you're right, my
Yes,
mistake.
this is the Town Hall one.
This is a, yeah. it's
Oh, that's
a-
great, so
this
we're
is
putting an IA system in for Town Hall, so that's gonna be great.
So we don't have to.
All right, we have a
be dependent
motion
on
and a
the
second,
old
all in
ones.
favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Town Board Resolution 1309 of 2023, co-sponsored by Councilwoman McNamara, rescind and recall 2023-597, authorized supervisor to sign a contract extension for maintenance, installation, repair of water mains with Roadwork Construction Corp.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. I'm just thinking
We're now
that,
rescinding and recalling, or recall and rescind.
yeah. No, and I'm thinking about the town hall sanitary system, because the village is trying, it'll be years, but they're trying to get a sewer district that
By the time that happens,
may
we'll probably
include
need to
town
replace
hall,
the IA.
Yeah.
but,
Right. I
Yeah,
think the
and
plan
this
is
was.
to include town hall. but-
This was
right,
an
could be fine.
incorrect, this was like, one of the ways we wanted to be able to separate from the old systems and actually prove what we live the dream, that we're use
Yeah.
IA systems for the town, but the reason this was, we called it amended, was the expiration date, that's all that it was.
all right, so we did 1309, so I guess we're at 1310. rescind contract with Catalyst Payments LLC, and authorize supervisor to sign new contract with Catalyst Payments LLC.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1311 of 2023, the 2023 notice to bidders for 30 Club Lane Maintenance Garage.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1312 of 2023, the 2023 notice to bidders for furnish and deliver assorted oils, lubricants, and grease.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1313 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, is a 2023 notice to bidders for heavy haul tractor.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1314 of 2023 notice to bidders for Mercury Marine Parks.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1315 of 2023, the 2023 notice to bidders for tilting roller trailer.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1316 of 2023 is to accept donation from the Shinnecock Canal Maritime Heritage Center Incorporated for the Southampton Town Historic Burial Ground Committee.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. So Sunday, what is this? What are we getting?
It's a gift of
This is
$4,000.
some money that was paid into an account for some damage that took place at our historic cemetery, and they were making reparations to, so that we could fix the damage that they made on the cemetery. And
So this is from the
now it's being
Shinnecock Canal
trans-
Maritime Heritage Center, Inc. is giving us $4,000.
Yes, that used to be
$4,000.
an organization that was formed to develop the property outside of Red Creek Park many years ago. And it was used for this purpose because the individual was adamant about wanting to be able to take advantage of getting a tax deduction.
Yeah.
So this was the vehicle in order to accomplish that, and now we're moving it into the Historic Burying Ground Committee fund so that it can be used for some.
So they caused damage, they're paying reparations and getting a tax break on it?
Listen, please.
It's a long
I
and
didn't-
sordid
I
and
didn't
complicated
negotiate that
story.
part, but
Well, it's a not-for-profit.
Yeah,
I don't know
now,
Uh,
if they get a tax break.
we're not a not-for-profit.
We're not.
Is the problem.
They are the.
yeah, but
That's
the
why it
town
went to
isn't.
them,
We are.
so they could get it to the person that,
And you said it was around Red Creek, that it's not around the canal?
No, it's not Red Creek. It's for the Historic Burying Ground that's down the road from here on Little Plains.
Oh,
That's why it's being deposited in the Historic Burying Ground
okay,
Committee fund.
got it.
And then there was insurance involved.
All right, so we haven't voted yet. We had a motion, do we have a second on this one?
I seconded it.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, approved. Thank you, Sunday, though, for that
You're welcome.
history there. 1317 of 2023 accepts reimbursement for insurance recoveries and amends the 2023 adopted budget for the Hampton Bays Water District.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Martell, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1318 of 23, co-sponsored by Councilman Bouvier and Councilman Scavone, amends the 2023 adopted budget for CPF Capital Project Dix Windmill Restoration and CPF Stewardship Program.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1319 of 2023, co-sponsored by Councilman Bouvier, Councilman Scavone, and Councilman Martell,
Could you just add me to it as well, please?
and Councilwoman McNamara. Amends, can you add Sunday, Councilman McNamara? Amends the 2023 adopted budget for CPF Capital Project Ellis Squires House Restoration and CPF Stewardship Program.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, so this will put in place $800,000 of CPF to restore the oldest house in Hampton Bays.
Yep.
In a nickaton.
And,
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it's, unfortunately,
It's a good start.
it's such an important building, and we've tried initially to, have a not-for-profit go after grants, and ultimately, it wasn't purchased by CPF, but then we were able to then give it to CPF so that now we could make it grant eligible through CPF for these improvements that really need to happen sooner than later, so.
And, yeah, and it's also a good model going into the future.
I thank, you know, God, thank Fred Field that we
Yeah,
have the
well, we have
the
CPF.
CPF program that we're able to have the money to put these places back together, because it's obviously very expensive. So, anyway, we had a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Who was the second on that? Councilman Bouvier? Second?
Yes.
Was I? Oh, okay.
Okay. All right, approved, 1320 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilman Bouvier and Councilman Schiavone, amends the 23 adopted budget for CPF capital program, Mulva Hill House, and CPF stewardship program.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone. This is similar because it's adding $500,000
Yep.
in CPF for the, for that capital project, for that house. Tommy John, you know more about this.
Sure,
than
this
I
is
do.
a designated historic home in Sag Harbor off of Brick Hill Road. It is an old house, and we currently are not using it in any way, and the house is falling into disrepair. There was a flood on the inside, so we want to make some changes to restore the historic structure, the original historic structure, and make it so it can be more usable, so that we can get a group in there. There are some groups that have shown some interest, but they just don't have the wherewithal to do this kind of renovation there. It's also haunted.
It's also haunted, is it a landmark building?
My brother had a winter rental there. It's haunted.
Is it a landmark?
One of my brothers. Yes, it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I was
so-
gonna say, which one?
Is that on the record, the haunted?
It is now.
Figure the way to keep you out of that with the rental.
Now, it just became 3 times more expensive.
We should have done this on Halloween. This
I was gonna say, there's gonna be a bunch of kids in there now going, but the Councilman Schiavone said.
Said it's haunted.
And I would be glad to let him know.
All right, so we have motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 13, 21, and 23, co-sponsored with Councilman Bouvier and Councilman Schiavone. This amends the 23 adopted budget for CPF capital project Nathaniel Rogers House, restoration and CPF stewardship program.
Second. And I just want to say on, before you vote, that this was one of the first things that's relative to CPF that I ran into, almost literally, when I came on board as town council member. And it's a great project, but it has taken a long, long time, but I'm really glad to see what they were finally there.
This is another $100,000 of
Yep.
CPF money toward that. I think there were issues with the roof.
Yep.
On this, so it's important that this work get done. All right, so, there was motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Who was the second?
Councilman Bouvier.
Councilman Bouvier.
I was.
Thank you.
All right, 1322 of 2023, co-sponsored by Councilman Bouvier, Councilman Schiavone, and Councilman Martell, amends the 23 adopted budget for CPF capital project Squiretown Park Dining Hall and CPF stewardship program. So this is for the lodge at the Girl Scout camp, which I have wanted to see this thing repaired since I've been in office, so it's finally moving forward. Cindy, do you want to add your name on this?
Sure.
So I guess this is still planning money, the 100,000?
100,000.
Because that's
Mhm.
gonna be probably 10 times that to fix this up, but just to get the process started.
The architect.
So, all right, so there's a motion, Councilman Martell is seconding, and we're adding Councilwoman McNamara on as a co-sponsor. All right, I'll call the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1323 of 23, co-sponsored with Councilman Bouvier and Councilman Schiavone, amends the 23 adopted budget and for CPF Capital Project Tupper Boathouse and CPF Stewardship Program.
Second.
Second by Councilman Bouvier. So this is considerable. This is $2,275,000 to finish the work at the Tupper Boathouse. Which is
Another
also
one of those.
another landmark.
Those projects and the super landmark, and hopefully with all the discussions that we've had with the Conscious Point Marina people and their fundraising efforts and so forth, that you're gonna actually have activity there, like boat building and things like that.
It's gotta
I
be
think that's
great. I
gonna
mean,
be
these
really cool.
historic buildings are, particularly when they're in complete disrepair,
And this had to be lifted. it
are
was a
very
lot of
expensive to
stuff.
put back together. They just are. And most communities don't have CPF funds, and they would just simply take some pictures and knock them down. That's the way it goes with these types of buildings. This one has a bit of a sordid history because of the whole, nightclub and Lizzie Grubman and all that.
Well,
But-
before
but
that, it was
long
a big
before
part,
that,
yeah.
it was a boat building, right? It had
Right,
a
yep.
really,
And in between, it was a very nice marina and restaurant that I
Yeah.
lived across
Yeah,
the street
it's
from.
had a lot of evolutions.
yeah.
It was like a family-owned
So
restaurant.
if the building had, the ability to tell its stories, it would have a lot of stories to tell, but we'll have to tell those stories, but at least we'll have the building there and put
Just
back
happy
together
we're
the
fixing
way
up
it
the
was.
parking lot.
Was that?
I'm just happy we're fixing up the parking lot. 'cause it's-
Yeah, so, again, so we're thankful we have the ability to
do that with
to do
CPF,
these things.
yeah.
All right, so we had a motion and a second?
We
All-
do.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. All right, 1324 of 2023 amends the 23 adopted budget for special events.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1325 of 23 amends the 23 adopted budget for town engineer.
Second.
This is for Shinnecock Commercial Dock area.
Yes.
It's an additional 100,000. All right, seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. 1326 of 23 amends the 23 budget for various departments. It's housekeeping.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1327 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilman Martell and Councilman Scavone, to amend the 2023-2027 capital budget and add capital project Riverside Bus Shelter.
Second.
Seconded
And
by
where's
Councilman
Vince?
Scavone.
It's the second iteration.
I know.
Did the first one a long time ago. I'm feeling old today. This is starting to.
So this
Count the
is,
days.
this is the type of bus shelter that,
We have all over town.
the one that
Kind of.
Vince Taldone used to advocate for. It's sort of the
Yeah.
nicer design.
They're around the
The
town.
little green one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay,
They're nice.
they're nice.
Wood shingled roofs.
Yeah, there you go. So we're doing this with CDBG funds?
Yes.
Okay, so we have motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1328, appoint election coordinators, inspectors for ambulance LoSAP special town election and authorize payment for services.
Second.
Seconded by
And this is December
Councilman
6th.
Bouvier.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
these are
on the motion, I want to thank Sunday and her office for doing this work. A lot of work behind this,
A lot more to go.
and a lot more to go.
Yeah,
So,
Thank you.
that's the first of a series of thank
You're
yous.
first and serious.
No, I know.
so this is basically
Now
paying
this is
those
getting
people
done.
who are gonna be at the election,
Correct.
like inspectors, right?
Right.
Yep.
They're sitting at tables, checking in.
They're hired from lists that the BOE provides to me to run the election as the commissioner here.
I was an election inspector once a long time ago. I didn't get $25 an hour. It was like
Well,
12.
that's the woman who's the coordinator captain.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
have 4
it's-
districts located in one
It's
location.
$20 an hour for everybody else.
8 machines.
It's, I admire people who do that. It's a hell of a community service, and it's
Mhm.
long hours, and it's incredibly
Yeah.
important.
Our
So-
democracy does not work without them.
You're absolutely right.
So, yeah, no, it's not that much above
And
minimum
we
wage.
could
is it?
choose people from each district to work that district,
Yeah.
so that they
Oh,
would
that's
have
good.
familiar faces as well.
All right, so, we haven't voted though on it yet, have we?
No.
All right, so I'll call the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Who is the second? Oh, John, right?
I was, oh,
I think so.
yes.
I believe you are.
The second,
All right.
I was the
Councilman
second.
Bouvier?
Hondo.
All right, 1329 of 23, recall and amend Town Board Resolution Number 2023-1171, authorizing additional funds for process services from One World Judicial Services, Inc.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1330 of 23, resolution to adopt negative declaration, determination of non-significance with respect to proposed amendments to Chapter 169, flood damage prevention.
Second.
Second by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 2023-1331, resolution to adopt amendments to Town Code Chapter 169, flood damage prevention, to be consistent with state program changes.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. Any discussion on this? We held a public hearing. Katie Garvin presented. It's just really makes our code conform to what we're supposed to be doing with the state. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1332 of 2023, a resolution of adoption enacting Chapter 255 of the Code of the Town of Southampton entitled Prohibition on Peddling or Solicitation Within Roadways.
Second? Cindy, I'd actually like to be added to this.
Certainly.
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this?
Oh, we had the public hearing today. We had some questions and comments earlier.
How does everybody feel about, I just want to, I mean, I've struggled a little bit with this because I always think, you know, it could be me out there. It could be me out there destitute, trying to
Yeah, but these
come
are
up with
peop-
enough money to feed myself.
These are
you know.
people that are not accepting help that's being offered to them. They've been offered help multiple times. Every time they're found out there, they are offered help again, and they decline, and this is what they choose to do.
I
They
know
make a
don't-
lot, some of them make a lot of money doing this.
I know people don't, I mean, there's a legitimate public safety concern with people standing in the road medians. And, you know, I know that some people, it makes some people uncomfortable, or they don't see it as the way they want to see their community. Of course, nobody wants homelessness and poverty.
It's right.
Well,
Right.
I've experienced it on 24, you know, when you stop for the light and people, and my biggest concern is their safety.
Yeah.
You know, that's what concerned me, because they weave in and out of the cars, and I'm just really concerned that somebody who's really fallen down hard in their life gets hit by a car, by somebody trying to do something good. It's a hard,
I
it's
mean,
a
I've
hard-
struggled, you know, with, you know, economic development in the Hampton Bays area in particular, to try to bring the economy up and create jobs and, you know, hopefully eliminate homelessness and poverty. You know, it saddens me that it still exists, that there's people who live in the woods or don't have enough to eat. But I also understand the community's concerns that, you know, that they're concerned that they might hurt somebody driving past, or, I struggle with these types of things.
I think we have a
I
very.
understand the intention.
We have a very compassionate police force, and I believe they're not gonna be, you know, issuing summonses. They're just gonna be basically directing people to safer areas where they can continue to do what they're doing, just not in the public roadway. That's what, right now, they can't make them go somewhere else. Right now, they have to allow them to be where they are and obstruct traffic and potentially get injured. This allows them to say, listen, you can do this, but not here.
You're thinking of days when they have good days too, these people that are panhandling, they have a bad day, they are pounding on windows, they are being,
Mhm.
you know, intrusive into these vehicles. I mean, it just needs to get a safer place
Well,
for
that
everybody.
they really should not be doing. That is harassing.
Yeah, but you're counting on a police officer seeing it, and it, you know, it's just not the same,
Yeah.
you know.
I wouldn't
They've
want
dealt
somebody
with that.
banging on my window either. That's, you know, I've seen this in many places, where people stand on the side of the road, but they're usually pretty quiet and put their hand out or jar out with the hope that,
It's not that.
So we heard testimony about people in lanes, we've heard testimony about cars stopping to, give money out or whatever. And we didn't hear a lot of testimony on whether or not anyone was injured or a car accidents. And I'm willing to bet that those exist, but for me, I don't want to wait for that to happen and to have some huge tragedy there. So for me, I do support this and will be voting yes. That's my vote.
That's one.
You a yes? or-
I'm a yes, for
Thank
all the same reasons. It's unfortunate that we can't enforce a lot of things that are just common sense for people. It's a hard thing to do that. But I think it's necessary because of the potential for real serious injury or death, which I came close to myself, so that worries me. And it puts the onus on us, perhaps, as a community to do better and find a better way to handle this crisis, because it is a crisis.
So they'll be able to panhandle, if that's the term? I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know,
just
so-
not,
or solicit for donations on the side of the road, but not the center of the road. Correct?
Yeah, to step off, like the median, or the center portion there, to step off into traffic. That's how I see it.
I mean, I asked Chief about this, and he said it's their intention to tell these people how they can do this within the law and safely, and that's all they're gonna do. They're not gonna, start arresting people and
I know.
fining them.
Well, he's the chief, and, hopefully he'll be there a very long time, but you put a law like this in place that says $250 minimum fine, up to 15 days in prison.
But I see that as the deterrent in order to be able to allow the police to safely move people and move them into a safe place.
I hope you're right. I mean, clearly the votes are there to pass this.
If they do end up spending a night in jail or something like that, hopefully they get the services they need at that point.
Yeah, they also get a record,
But this isn't,
and
this
that makes
isn't a
it harder to
jailable offense,
get a job and put their lives together.
right?
One of my concerns is that it will push this kind of behavior to other parts
Sean
of
says they can give them a $50 fine.
the town or the community.
Right, it doesn't
So that,
solve the root problem here,
Mhm.
the way
No,
economic development
you're
could
right
rise
on
all
that.
boats.
This is a symptom, but you sort of have to weigh public safety against that.
There's
That's how
people
I see it.
panhandling in Bridgehampton. It's not about economic
No,
development.
and here in
They're
Southampton, too.
panhandling in very affluent neighborhoods. I mean, you see it on Route 58 in Riverhead. You see it at the Bridgehampton Commons. You see it, I mean, it's widespread, and it's, like I said, there's some of these people that don't want the help. This is what they choose to do. And we're just asking them to do it in a safe manner.
Yeah. No, I understand they don't want the help, and in some cases, there may be underlying mental health issues that prevent them from wanting to get that help. But, I'm struggling with this. I know we have the votes to pass it, and it's gonna be put in place. It certainly makes me sad that we have homelessness and we have poverty at this level in our community, one of the wealthiest places on the planet. And we have to do more to help these people. We do. Even if they refuse help, we've got to, we have a sort of a civic responsibility to make sure that they're fed and housed, at least everything that we can.
But to support your point, if someone is taken in front of a judge and he has perhaps, or she has perhaps a better opportunity to be treated or to be helped in exactly the way you're talking about. Otherwise,
Yeah,
there is no opportunity.
Making a good argument for compassionate judges, too. So, all right, listen, I don't want to prolong this. I'm struggling with this. I want to support the community and its, desire to address this situation. We have a motion and a second. We'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, I'll support it as well. All right, so we'll make it unanimous.
Town Board Resolution 1333 of 2023, resolution of adoption amending Chapter 312-19, parking prohibited in designated locations in order to add regulations on a portion of Lake Avenue and Wildwood Trail, Northampton.
Second.
All right, seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. We had a hearing on this today. Anybody have any questions about it? I don't know that this is gonna solve all of our problems either. It's one of those things that could lead to, just moving the problem around.
Well, when I was liaison to Flanders area, this was a problem many years ago, so it's worth trying.
Yeah, no, we've been doing a number of things here to try to address this situation. It's a popular spot, Wildwood Lake. All right, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Town Board Resolution 1334 of 2023, resolution of adoption amending Chapter 312-49.4, no stopping on portion of County Road 63, Lake Avenue, Northampton, from County Road 51, Mauritius Riverhead Road to Lakeview Drive.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we will stay on this.
So that's, let's see. Hopefully these things work.
Town Board Resolution 1335 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilman Bouvier, authorized waiver of parks and recreation facilities use fee for the 2023 Our Lady of Guadalupe Run.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1336 of 2023, authorized waiver of parks and recreation facilities use fee for the 2023 Run with the Torch in honor of Our Lady of Guadalupe, co-sponsored with Councilman Bouvier.
Same second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1337 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilman Scavone, is a cost reimbursement waiver for St. Rosalie's Church, Our Lady of Guadalupe Run, on December 12th, 2023, from 1:30 to 3 p.m.
Second.
How did you guys ended up with that one?
I have no idea.
All right,
They have
seconded by
changed it up.
Councilman Schiavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved.
So you might have the similar reaction. Town Board Resolution 1338 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilman Schiavone, is a cost reimbursement waiver for the Hispanic Apostolate of Our Lady of Guadalupe Run on December 12th, 2023, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved. We already did 1339.
Yeah.
So we're at 1340 on page 89 of 2023 part-time salaries. Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1341 of 2023 standard workday and reporting resolutions for elected and appointed officials.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1342 of 2023 accepts resignation of Samuel Utz, sanitation helper and waste management.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1343 of 23 accepts resignation of Shamika Cobb, senior police operations aide in town police department civilian.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1344 of 2023 accepts retirement of Charles Ranieri Certain, audiovisual production specialist in education and government cable.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. On the motion, Charles, we're a little bit sorry to lose you. I know that you're gonna stay on as a part-timer. for the least for the last 8 years that I've been here, you've been behind the scenes at all these town board meetings, but also planning board meetings and zoning board meetings and many other meetings. We've been through some very long public hearings that went well into the night. And you have been a steady hand behind the camera. So I know it sounds like I'm talking into the ether here, but Charles, I know you're listening in the back. And I really just want to say how much I appreciate the work that you've done here to cover our town board meetings. I feel a little sorry for you having to listen to all these town board meetings. Sometimes it could be boring.
Very educational.
But, thank you.
Kind.
That's very kind. You get to hear us wax on infinitum. So, but we do appreciate the work that you've done, and you will be missed, but we do hope that you stick around because your expertise has been very instrumental. And I want to say one more thing about Charles. So, Charles was really instrumental through the pandemic too, in terms of getting information out to the public, keeping these meetings going via, hybrid, figuring out how to do these meetings like today where we're, although we didn't have anybody come in on the internet, just to be able to set up that ability so that we can do that. Charles was instrumental, worked really hard through, that crisis situation. So, on behalf of the town, Charles, thank you. And we wish you the best in your retirement, but we also are gonna turn to you for some technical expertise. I'm only here for maybe 6 weeks, but I hope that the new town board continues to employ you on some level. So,
It's been my pleasure.
well, thank you.
Charles, I want to echo a lot of what the supervisor says, your technical expertise and your, stick-to-itness, if you will, with what you do. Very much appreciated. And during the pandemic, we stopped one day, and we still had to run government, and we did it in a public fashion, and we did it through a lot of your work on Zoom and put it out to the public, and you were there for every single one of those meetings. So, thank you. Sorry to see you go. Happy to see you go on. We know you'll be around, and,
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we got you till December 1st, but then hopefully you'll stay part-time.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Charles, I'd like to echo everything as well and just say I know where you are most of the time, and I know what instruments you play and where you play them. And I put you high on my list of people I'm going to miss. We've had some interesting conversations over the years, and I appreciate everything that you've done for the town and made us look better, for lack of a better expression.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate that.
Gonna miss you too, John.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, Charles, just, keep the entertainment performance schedule up on Facebook so I can follow you, and I have plenty of time now, so, good luck with everything.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Rick and I are gonna come over, what, 5? Yeah, whenever you're at home.
And I cannot say anything now, so I just have to say thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you too.
Great sax player and a
Thank
great
you,
person.
guys.
Yeah. No, you've always been there for us, so we appreciate that. All right, so we have a motion and a second. With some reluctance, I'd like to, let's call the vote here. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Maybe.
All right,
Aye.
No.
we're gonna allow you to retire, Charles, so congratulations, thank you for your service to the
Recording
town,
is
and,
on.
and best of luck in your well-earned retirement. All right, so that was passed, so we're moving on to 1345.
Which we did, I think. Oh, no, that was 46.
No, we have not done 1345 of 2023. This accepts retirement of James Trent Jr., automotive equipment operator in highway.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell, and James has been here a number of years, and certainly the town wishes James also the very best in his well-earned retirement.
Congratulations.
We had a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. Okay, we did do 1346. So 1347 to 23 appoints Juliana Quant to Senior Environmental Analyst position in Community Preservation.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier.
She's terrific, by the way.
Yeah, she really is.
No, she does a great job. So, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved, and congratulations to Juliana. We're at 1348 of 23, appoints police officer, Spanish-speaking, two police officers, Ivana Hajak and Maura Torres.
Second.
Both, seconded by Councilman Scavone. These are both women and both Spanish-speaking. And I know you guys have heard me over and over again saying we need to make our police department reflective of the community. And to bring in two qualified Spanish-speaking women helps. It helps when we know a large sector of our community is Spanish-speaking and a large sector are female. So I think it's nice to be able to be part of appointing these two officers. I know it's, toward the end of my term, but it very much was one of my goals to diversify our police department, and this goes a long way toward that.
And I'd just like to add to that I totally agree with you, and I think Chief Kiernan is doing a fantastic job, but his message today at the beginning of this board meeting, I think is reflective of the style and what he wants his police force and our police force to be. So I really appreciated those words today.
It also, was a big recommendation of the clerk committee, the Community Law Enforcement Review Committee, to, recruit qualified Spanish-speaking individuals to the department. Tommy John, did you want to say anything on this? No? You good?
I'm good.
I'm looking forward to swearing them in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to
Anyone
be
else?
fantastic.
All right, no, and we've grown the ranks of this department, and, the budget will hopefully will adopt, will add an additional 4 police officers. But, we have been growing with the community and modernizing with body cams and other technologies, and, we'll be welcoming these 2 individuals into, I think, one of the greatest police departments on Long Island, if not the best police department on Long Island.
And in that regard, we've been going in the right direction for the past 8 years.
Yep.
That's true.
All right, so we had a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1349 of 2023 appoints police officer Blake Gifford Stark.
Second.
Second by Councilman Scavone, so this is an additional police officer that we'll be swearing in, and at the recommendation of the police chief. So we had a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. Resolution 1350 of 2023 appoints Susan Sforza to Public Safety Dispatcher 2 position in the police department.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. That's also very important. Very stressful position, those public safety dispatchers work
Mhm.
really hard and have an extremely important role to
Crucial.
play. So I called the vote on that one, Cindy? Yes, that was approved.
Yes, you
Okay.
did.
1351 of 2023 appoints Valerie French to Budget Technician position in Finance.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. And congratulations to Valerie. I know she's needed over there in the Controller's office. 1352 of 2023 terminates an employee in Municipal Works.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1353 of 2023. This is a notice of public hearing to consider amending Town Code Chapter 298, Taxation, to amend Article 11, Partial Exemption for Disabled Persons with Limited Income, to add a definition for income for purposes of the exemption. We will get the rundown on this with the public hearing, but it adds more exemptions in their income to qualify them for relief from taxable assessment.
All right, we had a second, who's the second?
I'm-
I don't have a
Second by
second.
Councilman Martell. All, and this would be on what day? The 28th of November, so pretty soon. I guess there's enough time to do this, right? All right, call the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1354 of 2023, companion legislation, if you will. Notice of public hearing to consider amending Town Code Chapter 298, taxation, to amend Article 5, exemption for senior citizens, to add a definition for income for purposes of exemptions.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, I take it's the same day?
Yes.
Yes, they're all the same day.
Okay,
November
6 of them
28th at 6
total.
o'clock.
all right, so we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. All right, I think we're at the bottom of page 103, 1355 of 2023. This is a notice of public hearing to consider amending Town Code Chapter 64, term limits to establish total eligible term for the supervisor and town council members of 12 years. And this would set up a public hearing on November 28th at 6 PM. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Councilman Scavone. Just, on this, and I know some may differ on the board, most towns don't have term limits, including our neighboring East Hampton. Some people don't think we should have term limits at all, but I can tell you that 8 years, and I'm the first supervisor since that term has been imposed that has actually served the full 8 years. The office can be self-limiting, and the voters ultimately have the choice. I had thought of doing this at a time, that would have given me an opportunity to run for an additional term, and decided not to do that. It's not something that can be put up to referendum. I know some people say, well, let the voters decide. It's not legal to put this on a ballot referendum. But I want the public to debate this issue for the future, because, let's face it, times have changed, and municipal government is a serious operation, and we don't have a town manager. This board is the management entity for the town, and so we're responsible for hundreds of millions of dollars of public money, hundreds of millions of dollars, and we're responsible, certainly in the summertime, for the public safety of hundreds of thousands of people. It's serious work. If the hospital or another large company was recruiting for a head administrator, I would be surprised if they would disqualify anyone with 8 or more years of experience. They might disqualify people with less than 8 years of experience. So there's a limited pool of people who are qualified to do this type of work, and when you're just sort of getting your stride, 8 years, sometimes it could take you 8 years just to really understand some of the municipal law, some of the intricacies of town government. It's complicated stuff. Now, I'm fortunate, I had 4 years as East Hampton Town Supervisor prior to this. That helped get me ready. I had 12 years at the county. That helped prepare me. It's still a challenging job, and I want to do this for future generations, to allow a minimum of 12 years. In many cases, you're leaving your career to come here, and after 8 years, you have to leave because of this limit, and then rebuild your career. It's not easy. That's not an easy thing to do. So I think 12 would match the county. We don't have, Sundays here. Sundays, our town clerk does not
I'm not a legislator,
does not have a term limit.
but I'm not a legislator.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and our highway superintendent is elected office, no term limit. Our tax receiver, elected, no term limit. Our trustees, legislators, no term limit. Assembly, no term limits. Senate, state Senate, no term limit. Congress, no term limit. 99% of the towns in New York State, no term limits. And the ones that, that do tend to have town managers, so that the board is more of a policy board. So I want to have the debate. I want to have the debate because I think it's the right thing to do, and that's why I'm asking for this public hearing, to let the public weigh in, and decide what's right for municipal government, what's the right term. I met my term limits at the county, 12 years, I had to leave. I've met my term limits here, and, I'm happy to have served, and I'm fine with leaving, that's the term limit. But I do think for future town board members and town supervisors, 12 years is a more appropriate term. So with that said, I'll save the rest for the public hearing. Any other comments? All right, hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye, okay, thank you. All right, so it's unanimous, we will have the public hearing. Okay, so we did 1356, and we'll move on to 1357, which is John's resolution.
We did.
Oh, we did that one already? Oh, yes, we did that one, the climate action plan.
Yep.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mark it.
I didn't check it.
1358,
All right.
109.
So did we get clarification? Because I thought we already held a hearing on this.
We did, and this public,
Yeah.
yeah, this is a public hearing to actually create the district.
Right.
The first public hearing was to designate the individual parcels.
Right.
So we want to go ahead and create an overlay district, a historic overlay district. That's what this
Yeah.
public
Okay,
hearing is.
all right, so do you want to read it?
Sure. Town Board Resolution 1358 of 2023, a notice of public hearing to consider amending Article 18, landmarks and historic districts and heritage resource areas of the Town Code, Chapter 330, zoning, to establish the Bridgehampton Bull's Head Main Street Historic Overlay District.
I'll second that happily.
And, yeah. Well,
What's the
there
question?
was, we've been doing outreach to the residential areas, to the residential parcels, rather. And 24 Lumber Lane has gotten back to us, and they are declining to be in the district. So I would like to change.
So you need to
Oh, there's
amend
a-
this.
Yeah, so let me amend it first, and,
All
okay.
right, so you're changing a
What
motion.
would
and the
Kathleen
motion
say?
to amend-
Withdrawn. And I would like to amend Town Board Resolution 1358 to remove 24 Lumber Lane,
That's the bottom of
bottom of
24.
page
11.
Yeah.
111. Yeah.
Flat 900.
And there may be other parcels that do not get included in this, because we are doing outreach to them, and they have not been incredibly responsive up to this point. So,
Yeah, we can always change it before we adopt it after public hearing.
right, there's a
so-
handful of residential parcels that are
All right, so,
included in this
It's
list.
gonna
that
go either way over time. People are gonna wanna.
I would
add-
say.
Yeah, so.
Right.
So, all
So-
right, but you're making an amendment to, on page 111, to knock out parcel 900-69-5-33, 24 Lumber Lane?
Correct.
All right.
So motion to amend?
There's no other changes, motion to amend, I'll second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now you
And
want to make a motion to approve
Town
as
Board?
amended?
Okay, motion to, would you like me to read it again?
No, you already read it, right?
I did read it.
I already seconded it, so.
You nailed it.
Well, no, you have to, if you
I'll
second
the
again.
amendment.
Okay, so this is a motion to approve as amended and seconded by Councilman Bouvier. Any other conversation? It sets up a hearing for December 12th at 1 PM. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. All right, resolution 1359 of 2023, resolution adopting negative declaration for purposes of secret in connection with the Bridgehampton Beach Erosion Control District.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. We had a hearing on this. This is adopting a negative declaration for that project. All right, seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. Resolution 1360 of 2023, public interest order in the matter of the increase and improvement of the Bridgehampton Beach Erosion Control District pursuant to Town Law 202B.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone. This is a procedural necessity. We've been through these before, so seconded by Councilman Schiavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. 1361, 2023, resolution adopting negative declaration for purposes of secret in connection with the Sagaponic Beach Erosion Control District.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. And the companion here, 1362 of 2023, God bless you, John. Public interest order in the matter of the increase and improvement of the Sagaponic Beach Erosion Control District pursuant to Town Law 202B.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. Okay, we're going to the walk-ons.
Town Board Resolution ID 44814, co-sponsored with Councilman Schiavone. Authorize the supervisor to execute an agreement with L.K. McLean Associates, P.C. to provide engineering and technical services associated with the town's FEMA Advanced Assistance Funding for a feasibility study and materials to support a grant application for FEMA's Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, HMGP, for Dune Road.
Second.
All right, seconded by Councilman Schiavone. Any discussion? Call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. All right, 44819, co-sponsored by the entire board, 2023 notice.
We did this
Oh, we did
already.
that? Thank you. We pulled that one out.
And it
for Riverside
passed.
Sewer. All right, 44824, co-sponsored with Councilman Bouvier, 2023 notice to bidders for West Hampton Community Center bid extension.
Second. And that's, again, for the public, it's only 2 weeks.
Right. So, okay, so seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 44825, notice of public hearing to accept a deed and dedication in connection with the map of Riverhead Estates, map number 54, section D.
Didn't-
That sets a public hearing.
Yeah. Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution ID 44828, accept Eagle Scout donation from Gabrielle Blows.
Second.
Seconded, and what are we getting?
He's building
10
10
spots.
platforms at Square Town Park.
10? Really?
Oh, 10 camping platforms?
Yeah, cool.
That's great, because there already is a bunch there, and they were also built by Eagle Scouts.
Yeah.
Now Eagle Scouts, so
we got
that's,
more. That's neat.
that's
Good, too.
wonderful.
Yeah, they've held up.
All right, okay, so we had a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 44829, authorize supervisor or town attorney to sign a stipulation of settlement agreement.
Second.
1 second.
That's the, you don't want to say that.
Yes, okay, this is related to an employee. All right, so who was the second?
I was.
Councilman Bouvier, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved. 44834 is the 21st warrant, capital, CPF, and payroll liability.
Same.
Seconded
Second.
by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. All right, 44837, which I'll explain in a second, but notice of public hearing to consider amending Town Code Chapter 330 to establish standards and setbacks for pickleball courts. Can I have a second?
Second.
This is for a hearing on December 12th, so, as you guys know, pickleball keeps growing and growing in popularity, and the courts are smaller than tennis courts, and people who before couldn't put in a tennis court are coming in to put in pickleball courts. Or people who don't want a tennis court are coming in to put in pickleball courts, and it's noisy. It's, I'm an avid player, as most of you guys know, but the sound is a percussive sound. It's a hollow ball.
Yeah, and I hear you guys
That-
fight a lot, too.
Was that?
I hear you guys fight a lot, too.
Yeah, well, that's, yeah, was it in or was it out? So people are, because the setbacks for these courts, in some cases, only 8 feet from a property line, or 10 feet, some cases 20 feet. A lot of towns and villages are adopting regulations related to pickleball courts because it's noisier than basketball, it's noisier than tennis, and so it's falling into its own category. What this basically says is you have to have a minimum of 30 feet to the property line. And if you're 30 feet to the property line, you also have to do some sound attenuation. You have to sink it in 4 feet, and you have a 6-foot sound wall. If you have room to be 50 feet away, you don't have to do those extra things. But if you're less than 50 feet and 30 or more feet, you still have to do the sound attenuation. And, we'll have a hearing on it, but I had meetings about this with our building inspector and with Katie Garvin, and with, others from the town to try to figure out what regulations for this emerging sport make sense for our town code. And it's not as strict as what East Hampton Village has done and many other places have done, but it will, I think, improve the situation for many neighbors. You don't really want to be 10 feet away from a court that, and people invite other people over to play. It's typically a 4-person sport, and people will play for hours. And it can have an impact on neighbors. So I think this is reasonable, and, we'll allow the public to weigh in on it, and then we'll decide if we want to put this in place. So
The
that's
way
what
our
that's
code
about.
currently stands, the pickleball court in someone's yard could be closer to their neighbor's house than their own house.
It could be, yes.
Could be, depending on the size and
No,
configuration of the
absolutely,
lot.
and we're seeing a lot of requests for these courts, so.
Right.
All right, so we have motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved, so that's the end of our agenda. We will have a special meeting on Thursday. It's at 1 o'clock, for the purposes of adoption of the budget. And we have a work session as well.
I don't have anything scheduled, I don't have any items yet. I have to ask if anyone has anything.
Well, that's fine.
So that's okay if we don't have to have a work session. If we need to have executive session, we could do so after, we could go from that budget meeting into executive session, so. All right, anything else? We'll have time to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving at the next meeting. All right, any other business? All right, then I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, we are adjourned.